thank you to the great Stone Loki for that opening. Man, he is the man.
Loki.
Love me some Loki. What a great dude. Hopefully, we'll be all hanging out with him tomorrow night over there at the big Loki thing. I'm hoping. And a big day for everyone, of course. Yeah, this morning got up early and watched the great Loki speak with the legendary Az. That was a lot of fun. And I just decided to go on a little bit late tonight. Well, it's not late for you, but I mean, it's late for me. Just that's a relative term, as we all know, in this big world. But I thought I would just come on and do a little bit of an open thing because, I figured this is a night that it's a good night for it. A lot of crowded nights coming up. A lot of people doing different streams and whatnot. And so I wanted to get one in because, I did a lot of streaming last week and realized that I had nothing really planned for this week. So I'd come in and just hang out a little bit. And ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy. Yeah, well, we got ladies here tonight. Not yet, anyway. So happy to have the great Paulie from the great Latino Slant here with me tonight. My good buddy checking in to hang out with me a little bit, and I'm always appreciated. Of course, if you've not subscribed to the stream, and we all know you. I mean, his channel, we all know you have. But if you haven't, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but the description is right there below. Do so, please. Subscribe to his great channel.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you, people? I mean, do I have to do everything for you? And again, it's so late. Like our good buddies, Tim Hayes has popped in, and my great old pal, great new old pal, I guess I should say, D. Oberg, Doug Oberg is here, and who knows? Maybe no one else may even show up, bro. But you know what? It was just fun. You're here, and that's all about it.
Yeah, we get to
Yeah.
chat. I sent out the link.
Thank you, man.
If you guys can send out the link and get some homies in here so we can have a nice conversation.
Well, cool. I love it. But even if they don't, look, I'm hanging out with you is all that matters, brother. And, of course, Doug and Tim and anyone else who pops in. I had a few people popped in here and there the other night. Saturday night, I want to thank, again, Carlos for hanging out with me on the big special show we did about the works of Alan Moore. Before, did a couple of shows last week, of course. One on the Star Trek cruise with the lovely and talented and brilliant Raquel Briggs, who is just an absolute sweetheart, who is fantastic. And I love you, Raquel. You're really amazing, awesome. And I look forward to doing many more Star Trek shows with you and maybe other topics as well. But we got a lot of Star Trek going on for that, coming up with Raquel. And, of course, night before that, Mr. Dave Baker, who wrote the new IDW comic book, Star Trek. Let me find Star Trek Voyager, new comic book that he wrote. Star Trek Voyager 7's Reckoning is coming out next week. I don't have a picture of it up anymore because I had a bunch of other pictures, but please go look for that if you can. He was a spiffing bloke, and I enjoyed talking to him. And hey, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, Carlos and I had a little technical difficulties last week. But if any of you are interested in learning about the works of Alan Moore, Lee Anthony Daniels, thank you for popping in, sir. Look, the state of comics now, if you're a comics fan, and if you're like me and some of us who don't really like a lot of this stuff coming out lately, Paulie, but you want to go back and find some great stuff, that Alan Moore's crazy as an old coot, but he could write.
He right here.
He was brilliant. You got, what you got?
Yeah. It's the Justice book.
Oh, Justice, yeah.
Yeah, I've been a little slow on it though.
I understand. I love that book, but I mean, one of my compliments I always paid that book was it was very Alan Moore-like. It reminded me of something he would write. And what we did last week, everyone, if you weren't there, if you are interested in that kind of stuff, I tried to make it sort of a chronology. Now, yes, I have old man's memory, but for some reason, when it comes to Alan Moore's work, I have all of it, with a few exceptions here and there that I just did not want to have, that were just a little bit too disgusting. but it's 80s stuff, of course. The man now, and I don't know if you're familiar with him that much of him, Polly, but he comes out now in the media a lot. He created Watchmen. I know you're familiar with Watchmen. Everyone knows about Watchmen. It's been made into a movie and all that kind of good stuff, as you know. But it was rated as one of the top 100 works of fiction of the 20th century by Time magazine polls and different other things like that at the time. And it's, in my opinion, it's a masterpiece of comic book storytelling. even though it gave us a lot of bad things. I mean, it spawned a lot of bad, grim and gritty movies and just a lot of ugly stuff that came after it that he felt very bad about. Well, today he denounces all of his older work, and he comes out and says people who watch superhero movies are idiots and children, and he thinks he's a wizard and he thinks he's a magician and all this crap. But he's brilliant, and aren't many artists like that? Some of the greatest writers or musicians or what have you kind of sometimes they're a bit bonkers. I mean, isn't that kind of part of just the way it seems? Not all, but many. I don't know if you're familiar with many of them, but some of them can, when you hear them actually talk. But Alan Moore did things with superheroes that probably shouldn't have been done, but they were so damn brilliant. And he did some great comics. And Carlos and I tried to go through it, and I tried to do it in order from his early stuff in the 80s when he first started, before he became a superstar, from a Swamp Thing, which launched him into superstardom as a comic book writer, and first writer who was ever celebrated that much. And then, of course, a lot of his great DC work and his work on Superman, few though they are, is brilliant. And his Miracle Man, to this day, and beyond compare, this is his Miracle Man is this comic book right here, folks, is the single most disturbing comic book ever made, and I'll go against anybody on it. It's brilliant. It's ingenious. Probably should never have been done. And when you open it to the first page, especially if you were waiting for this like over a year and a half because the comic took forever, you would both be repelled, disgusted, and fascinated. And it's the scariest comic book ever written, and that's saying something, because yes, you can write gory, you can write scary, you can write ugly, you can do all those things, but can you do that and make it impossible to look away and still make someone go, my God, that's a masterpiece? And it makes me sick. Imagine someone with Superman or Captain Marvel's powers being like, how the Joker, of course, doesn't have superpowers and he's still very dangerous and he's that evil, he's evil incarnate. Imagine that with Superman powers and what he would do. That's pretty much what you got there with this story. And again, not to go into it too much, just when I think of the level of writing, now he just owns all this stuff. And maybe it shouldn't have been done, but it's ingenious. And some of the stuff, if you see our show, anyone, if you want to go back and find out about some great reading. And that's all I'll say about that. Alan Moore, you crazy madman, you. Smart Steve. I'm sorry. Yeah. What is Miracle Man? Should I tell him? Should I tell him? We didn't have to get on that topic too much. I just wanted to show everybody that Smart Steve was here the other night. Yeah, I'm sorry. He's just showing this piece again. I'm sorry. It is pretty disturbing. Miracle Man, it's a long story, but he's basically Captain Marvel. You know Captain Marvel, the one who says Shazam? You know who he is, Polly, I'm sure.
I don't. Shazam? Yeah.
Well, but he said, the original Captain Marvel was someone who says Shazam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the 50s, because DC Comics put Fawcett Comics out of business in their lawsuits of suing them over, quote unquote, ripping off Superman with Captain Marvel, for 20 years, there was no Captain Marvel comics because DC had stolen from them. And of course, in Britain, they were getting those imported and they all of a sudden stopped. They ran out. So they created a ripoff called Marvel Man. And then in the 80s, Alan Moore took it because he'd gone dormant because Captain Marvel came back at DC called Shazam. You can't call him that on the cover anymore. Okay, Dan, you're familiar. Well, there you go. Well, Marvel Man is their knockoff, a British knockoff. And he took him down the sickest, darkest path you're ever going to see, and it's amazing. So we'll get off of Alan Moore. Now, I just wanted to recap that and tell anyone, if you want to go back and learn about...
Got to recap.
Yeah, well, I love Captain Marvel.
Always talk about your last show, and then on,
Yeah, little recap in there, man. But
that's what
so tell us, talk, man. Tell us what's going on with you and how you feeling.
Talk to me. Yeah, won't you talk to me? I'm just I've gotten real busy with the channel, and we're gonna move the day and time of the Latino Slant, the 4 p.m. show. I don't know when, but we will. We have to. There's just too much traffic on Thursday. Even though the actual X-Files watch party that we do later at night with Doug. Doug is there. that's actually picked up a lot of steam. I think it's just the timing, and we're gonna push that actually back an hour to begin at 9 p.m. Pacific Thursday. So just starting to maneuver stuff. And do more videos. Um, but that being said, we're still on for this Thursday, and we are doing a Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos celebration.
Nice.
So I've lined up. Uh, I've lined up. Well, what's coming back is Barrio Boychek, so he's coming back to the show.
Ah, has he
Uh,
been he's been away for a while, busy or
yeah, just real busy, and so it's gonna be great to see him. And then I have two ladies separately doing wonderful things in the community. One owns a business, like a clothing store. Well, it's all things that you can think of as far as Latino culture, like fashion, art, tchotchkes,
nice?
you know, like it's really colorful, it's a great little store, and it's where I got my white hat from, my Panama hat,
Oh,
and
nice.
so she's just got some great artwork. She's just a really cool lady. And then my final guest is gonna be this woman that I've known for a while, who's a music event, like a festival organizer, and they're doing a music festival virtual with Los Lobos next weekend. So she's going to come on the show and talk about that music festival. And it's all like
Excellent.
Day of the Dead. Yeah, yeah. So it's all Day of the Dead themed, and I'm gonna probably wear makeup. I'm probably gonna here, let me work on my little avatar so I can
Oh,
show it. Wait,
cool. Nice. Oh, you got
I don't know.
an alternate avatar here. Oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
I love the avatar things on here. Um,
Oh,
let's see
it's
here.
not letting me do it. Oh,
Jason
because they're cutting
C.
yours.
Thank you
Yeah.
for popping here, sir. Popping in, sir. Appreciate that.
All right. Well, I can't do it.
It won't work when you're up when you're running up and running. What's the deal?
Well, I'm not. I'm
Anthony
not.
Lee. Thank you. Good. Anthony
Yeah,
Daniels
I'm
Davis.
not logged in. So I
Oh, I'm
kind of
sorry.
clicked this from the. I could go. Let me come out. I mean, I'll come right back.
All right, buddy.
Is that
Gotcha.
okay? All right.
Not a problem, bro.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Lee Anthony Daniels, Smart Steve, all you guys. While he's doing that, I want to say thanks to all of you for popping in here. Yeah, we're doing it kind of late here, Tim. You were right about that, but I just figured there are a lot of Paulie is he's way out there on the coast. I'm in the middle. We got a couple hours on him, and I know he's a busy man, all that kind of stuff. I figured it was a little bit later, might be a little bit better because I wanted to chat with him a little bit there. It's cool, but normally we won't be this late. So, oh, there we go. There we go. Looks like you got it there. Look at that. Now this is you win. What is
That's like 5 years ago. Yeah. So
nice?
you know, the makeup is actually pretty easy to do. So I'm gonna do that. Maybe Kai will do his own, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
it'll be a fun time. Yeah, Los Lobos. Oh, thanks guys. Smart Steve, Tim Hayes. Um, yeah, so I'll have my little promo for up for the show up by tomorrow. I'm very
Oh,
visual. I
okay.
like I like fun stuff.
Yeah,
But
well, that's cool, man.
yeah,
So you haven't figured out a day that you'll move to yet, huh? You're not really
maybe it'll
sure.
be Tuesday around this time.
Cool. I mean, because for
Well,
you it's only 9 o'clock. So
I have no idea, bro. I have no idea.
yeah.
I do know that we gotta move. And then I think the Friday, uh, lunchtime Friday after casino and right before Friday Night Lights, there's a good hour there for me. That I can do like a weekend review wrap up. I did that, last week, so that I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's going on, and then I did the big reaction this morning to the new TV show version of Selena. They released the trailer, and so I think it's got a lot. It's got a lot of hits, man. And
Oh, good.
anytime I do Selena stuff, I told you, it's just like for our little channel. Um, but I was talking to the chat um, about why I think why I think that Selena's legacy has done so well and grown over the last
Hmm.
25 years is because it's completely owned and controlled, her estate and her IP by her family. And you know, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek. What do they all have in common? You know, they
They're
all they
all,
all they all had that family fold at first.
yeah,
You know,
yes.
you know,
She was huge. She was
yeah.
huge.
So I kind of connected that to some of the people who maybe that were in the chat today that um, weren't really. I think by now everyone knows that Selena was, shot and killed by her own fan club member
Yeah.
cousin, right? But
Yes.
really don't know her story and just don't know, like, also too the family since then, what they've done with their IP. So I think it's pretty cool. I hope it's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since they made that film that Tim was mentioning about where with Jennifer Lopez. I've never seen that actually. I don't know. Did you like that at all? Was it fairly? I don't. I've never seen it. So.
Well, we talked about this, and then we'll talk about it ad infinitum.
Yeah, you have talked about. Yeah, I remember you mentioned it before, but I've never
Well,
seen it. So.
yeah, and I think what we're gonna do is an actual watch party, which you're invited to. We'll
Thank you.
do the watch party on 12 on December 4th. The
Yeah.
Netflix will drop the. I don't know if they're gonna drop all of them, but they'll
Oh, I got
drop
you.
the series. Yeah.
They probably do that.
Um,
They're probably going to do it into the binge mode thing
I
model.
wish they
So.
wouldn't do that. That's
Yeah, it's not that good for them. Maybe they learn lessons with that eventually. But yeah,
I wouldn't if it was a
they might.
limited series, man. Because I think it's only 6 to 8 episodes, and we all know how the story ends as far as with Selena. Um, but
Yeah, that's
God, you
true.
know what? What did you? I lost my train, bro. What did
Oh,
you?
we were just talking about the binge model thing.
Mhm.
32 flavors of Nickweiser. Welcome to Clobberin times, buddy. Good to see you there, sir. Good man. Um, well, yeah,
No,
that binge model thing. Go ahead.
there's something else. No, you asked me something else before that, and I
Oh
totally
no,
lost
it
it.
was just about
Oh, about J
the
Lo,
movie.
about the
Yeah,
movie.
the yes, right,
So
Selena movie.
right, so what's fascinating, and you could do that like with any of our IPs that we love, right?
Yes.
It's how a new generation retells the story and how it's accepted,
Yeah.
right?
We're going to use our class example that have brought us all together. George Lucas told the story a certain way that united us all together and that we forever will love.
Yes.
Right? How many years later, KK and Abrams retell it in a god awful way, probably the worst way that you could ever imagine. Um,
Yes. That's for sure.
a movie who's and even um, Nick Weiser, he's in the chat. Nick Weiser, they were on Jake D's channel live stream yesterday talking about it, about Finn and this and that, and I'm like, dude, those were the most racist, stereotypical portrayals
Yeah.
of a black man, of a Latino man, of a Asian, that I was just like, are you guys serious? And it got worse with each movie. They gave him like Finn became a janitor. What the F was that?
In the first movie, they're calling the yes him a janitor, but no, everybody else to these people is the racist. It
Right.
blew me away when they did that. When they mentioned that, I almost walked out of the theater. I hate The Force Awakens anyway. It made me physically ill. I'm like, that's a joke, right? I mean, stormtroopers. I mean, we joke about them not being able to hit a target, but the idea is solid enough. You have a stormtrooper with a moral dilemma who defects, and then you turn him into a cartoon, and and a bad stereotype. It's
Well,
terrible.
It goes to show you the complete disconnect of reality that, unfortunately, some of these people in power have, and when it comes to um, different people with different backgrounds.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, we're you come from this. You're gonna be you were once a slave, and you know the ins and outs of the Death Star because you were on the janitorial staff, and you're not gonna get the love of your life, but you're always gonna be chasing her, and we're gonna kind of make you look like a buffoon because you're gonna be on top of a stupid ass horse, uh, running around a
yeah,
casino, and in the meantime, our
yeah.
real hero is out there saving the universe. But it'll be fun for you.
Ugh.
I'm
It's
so
terrible,
happy.
man.
I'm so happy John spoke up. I mean, you know, you don't, good for him because I know he wanted more minutes, more time with last of the whatever it was called, the last one. He
Yeah.
demanded more screen time. Um, but I don't know how we got off on that.
No,
But
no. It's
yeah, well, it's Geek Talk, right?
That's what it's for. That's what we're here for.
And then in the last one, they make Poe the ex spice smuggler. Oh, okay, he was a drug dealer. Awesome,
Of course. Yep.
awesome.
And
That's great. That's
if you don't
great.
like it, you're racist for some reason. It's like
And
it's just so
and
stupid.
then the ultimate put down to as much as they could, right? Besides Luke sucking on some blue ass
Oh,
milk, whatever it
yeah.
was making Han Solo a deadbeat dad.
Oh,
That was awful, man. That was, I mean, because
horrible.
Han and Leia, they were crazy about each other, man. They were so connected. That was their whole conflict, is that she could not, she never in a million years would imagine that she would be attracted to this type of man, and it was
E-
great.
Everything with these characters was regressive. They regressed them all, especially Han.
yeah.
So, well, Han and Luke. I mean, they didn't do Leia any favors either, but they really regressed both of those. And as soon as you see, wait a minute now. So he
Mhm.
went back to his old ways. Which, by the way, I know you're not supposed to say stuff like this; you get laughed at. But in the EU, they handled it beautifully. The relationship between and the that progressed so well with Han and Leia and
Mhm.
Luke. In this,
Yeah.
we're supposed to think 30 some odd years later, he's back to his old ways. He's a deadbeat dad. He's right there. The movie lost every bit of credibility as soon as they show him. And also, he's an idiot who didn't forgot where he parked the Falcon. It's pathetic. Yeah, a lot of people, and I'm glad they came to their senses in this. I know this sounds mean. Really, really wanted to like the Force Awakens so much that they put up with it, and they tried to convince themselves that they liked it. I walked out of the theater pissed off. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be very good because I knew Jar Jar Abrams, but I did not expect this level of degradation because I went in not knowing what was going to happen, and I
Oh,
walked out, man, just angry, but not as angry as I
well,
was with Last Jedi, but I was pissed.
not to make this an OG fandom Star Wars
That's
rant, but the thing is, Clobberin is the connection with, we were talking about IPs, we're talking about legends, we're talking about
yeah.
our heroes, and going back to Selena, that was like, this is a new retelling because the old film, the thing with the old film was that there might not have been enough time from her actual passing to when this movie was made and came out. I think it was maybe 2, 3 years after the fact,
Uh,
and that is like, um,
Still very raw wound in a sense, socially.
Yeah, so now it's retelling of the Titanic. We know how it ends, but it's a retelling. And so from what I saw from the trailer today, it looks I mean, I got really emotional. Looks
Wow.
fantastic. Yeah, it looks fantastic. I was I, I'm curious to see because I'm curious to see, you know, a lot of storylines, but I'm hoping they don't. Um, well, okay, so one of the major conflicts was the father being very, very controlling, very dominant. They're also very conservative. So when Selena wanted to start, you know, kind of like showing off her body in sexy clothes, it was like a big deal, you know, with the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Um, and that, you know, that's you know, that's part of that whole story. But I'm wondering how they're gonna. I wonder how they would portray this man who's, you know, who's a very, you know, strong, dominant man in his family,
Hmm.
who they all, hey, listen, you know, look at all the great things that came out of it. You
Yeah.
know, his entire family, they were the band, they were the music band. You know, the son became a prolific singer-songwriter after the fact, after Selena passed. Um, so I was worried that, oh, they're gonna, you know, make him out to be the toxic male and you know, the macho, you know, typical, you know, stereotype. But there's no way they'll do that, since, you know, because I'm I'm pretty sure because since the family owns the IP.
Is your mic
And
low?
is my mic loud?
Well,
I don't know.
well, someone said in the chat it is. I can't really tell myself. Seems a little bit, but man, I don't know.
Paul needs to up the volume on his mic.
Is that the thing? I mean, mine doesn't work that way, so I don't know.
Check
But you
one,
got an
check
actual.
one.
No, that sounded loud. You've got a way better one than me. Mine's an old clunky ass headset, but I'm working on that. But
Well,
so there, you sound
I,
a lot better. Yeah, you're perfect now.
okay,
There you go.
we're good now.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't know that they were having an issue there. So please continue. I'm sorry about the interruption.
No, no, that's just it. I'm fairly confident that um, the storylines are going to be told in a great way, um, in a
You know, true way, because
you know
Latino families are very tight. That family was very tight. Um, and that's an American success story. At the end of the day, it was a great American story, and you know, we love our American tragedies. That's why we want to see them over and over again, and we're kind of twisted
Yeah.
and obsessed about it. You know what I mean? So yeah, man,
Well,
um,
there you go.
I'm excited.
Hopefully they'll probably you're probably right. They probably will do the binge thing, but hopefully it'll be good either way. You know, I'd never even heard of that whole binge model thing until I first saw Daredevil on Netflix, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to get to watch it all at once. Okay, that's weird, but sure, all
Mhm.
right. But I do understand the points everyone makes about how it's not really good for the popularity of a show. But you know, you don't think of that at first. I didn't. I just thought, wow, I could. And it took me 2 days to, or a day and a half to binge it because I couldn't wait. But so they'll probably do that with this one, since they do with everything else.
I'm going to change my headset.
Okay, okay. Um, Now your volume is good. Yeah, something got it low again. Well, it's a good sound tester. You know, thanks, guys. We appreciate that. I mean, I never. Sometimes it's tougher for me to tell. I'm working on getting a new headset. Lost it again. There you go. Oh, is that how it works? There you go.
Check one, two, three.
Yeah,
Hello.
sounding
Can
great.
you guys hear me
Sound
now?
yeah, sounding great. So you think it was the earpieces or whatever?
Well, these weren't charged, so they were charging. So I
Oh, I
put
got
on
you.
these dingy things. So
I got you.
yeah,
And it shows what I know about all this
but
stuff. I need to get me some new ones.
you got a lot of
Go
people
ahead.
chatting it up.
Yeah, chat. Love that you're here, man. All great to see you. And they got a little Star Wars. They talked a little Star Wars for a second there. That's not never a
Mhm.
lightning rod subject, is it? Yeah, that's a big one
Still
there.
not.
No,
Oh, he's saying nope. Huh?
I'm not sure what he's
My
noping on
mic,
that for,
really?
but I'm hearing you well. And maybe we're
Check
good now. Or
one,
maybe he was
two,
talking
three.
earlier. That was.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good now, man.
Well,
I'm hearing you good.
yeah, since I switched to these guys, is that better?
So
Yeah, let us know if that's better, my friends. Obviously, there's a lag. There's that lag I never get used to. So yes, it's just a lag thing. Yeah, dude, I just that you can do. I mean, movies are great and all. We love them, but sometimes if you have a story like that that may be a little bit more involved, I do always love the idea of telling it in a much longer form. So maybe that will work better for the Selena thing.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I mentioned today is that, even from, I think it's something with Pikes oh man,
What, you found
sound
something?
brilliant. Okay, we have, I'm confused of two different reports about the mic.
I'm hearing you great.
Oh,
Before
when
I
you go
was low,
close,
but
it fixes it. All right,
is that what
I'll
it
just
is?
stay close.
I need a mic like
Here we
that.
are, Clobberin Times, the midnight hour, featuring Clobberin Times.
The light.
Polly from the Latino Slant, and Nick Weiser, 32 flavors, as we open up our geek hearts and minds to the soft sounds of Polly and Clobberin Times. Anyways.
What is this, NPR? There you go, everyone.
Oh God, NPR, that's hilarious.
Oh
Jeopardy
Lordy.
music.
Oh my God, man.
Oh,
Hey, look, we're low tech here, ladies and gentlemen. We get the job done, especially on Latino Slant, everyone.
but this thing should work.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a pretty high tech mic to me. Better than what I'm using. I got a terrible one. I'm working on that. I'm gonna get a new one soon. I hope. Maybe not a really super duper one like I see some of these people with, these really fancy ones, but I gotta have a better one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's the next step for me is I'm getting a new system up and a new webcam coming up.
There you go. Lee Anthony Davis has a lot to say. Let's hear. The whole thing revolves around the CGI, and the plot could have been written by a 4-year-old, and certainly, yeah. We watch Will. Yeah, I ended up throwing the. Well, yeah. Look, the Disney crap is fan fiction anyway. It's Tumblr fan fiction, so screw it. What about the Mandalorian? Are you looking forward to that? Because that's coming up next week.
Yeah, sure.
You like that first season?
It was okay. It was okay. I think there was some entertaining episodes. And it was definitely a nice retro feel, a throwback. I think when you're so traumatized by the garbage of those 3 films.
Yeah.
Well, we could even say Solo. I think
Yes.
Rogue One was a decent movie.
Yeah, I agree.
You're just like, oh, and then you watch the TV show. You're like, oh, okay, but I don't want to care about you about your IP anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
That sounds like me with the first season. There's some good ones, and it's just kind of all right. I'm glad it's not bad, but it's tough to get excited, isn't it? I mean, now Doomcock reviewed it the other day. He'd seen the first episode and didn't like it, and then later he dropped a review. My old buddy Doomcock, he dropped a review, and he really, really, really enjoyed the first season. He ate his words. He said he thought he was wrong as initial impressions, and he gave it a very high praise review. If any of you haven't seen that one, so he's totally on board with it now. And I liked it okay myself. It's not the kind. Here's the thing: I could like something, but if I'm not burning up to go back and rewatch it again, that's weird for me. Not everybody. That's weird for me.
Yeah. Especially for Star Wars, because we're used to seeing it so many times.
Yeah, and look, second season, I'm game. If it's good. I mean, it's something to watch. I'm it's not like there's much anything else coming out that I care to watch. But am I super hyped up about it? Man, in fact, is there anything anyone out there in terms of geek stuff, everyone, that you're super hyped up? You can't wait till it comes out because. Even my old ass who, has sworn off comics. I don't like modern comics. I don't have very many TV shows I like anymore. even I, a couple of years back, not too long ago, was at least sort of looking forward to the Marvel movies a bit. I like some of the MCU, not all of it. And so at least I would go, oh, well, I'm looking forward to Avengers, the next Captain America film or the
Hmm.
next Avengers film or the next Guardian. At least I kind of had that back then. Now, if you'd say, what's coming out that you're looking, I can't say this is anything, man. I'm not saying there's nothing,
The
but I don't know.
uh, yeah, as far as in the geekosphere, like we gotta like we gotta like really look for something like do a deep dive into something new. Why did they name the first one the Force Awakens? Did the Force go to sleep? Return of the
Apparently it
Jedi.
did. I called it the Force of
Oh
Break-ins because it pretty much broke it.
God.
I don't know. Smart Steve.
Yeah.
That's why you're Smart Steve, because it is a smart question that probably will never have a good answer. But yeah, I mean, look, like for example, Black Widow. It was way late. I mean, they should have made it years ago,
Hmm.
but I was game for it. Now they keep pushing it back, and you lose interest at some point. Yeah, okay, maybe it'll be good,
Hmm.
but at some like Wonder Woman, I have my concerns. We've seen trailers. We talked about trailers. I'm game, but you keep pushing stuff back,
Well, also
and it
too
kind of
is
kills
that
it.
yeah, and the fact is that most new material has there's so many agendas with this material.
Oh my God,
You
yes.
know, with you got your Star Wars Discovery, your Lower Decks. I mean, I ain't gonna watch any of that. Um,
No, it's crap.
um, yeah, you can't get away from it right now. You can't get away from it. And then of course they say everything is so timely. This
Oh,
is
yes,
such an important time for us to watch a cartoon.
it's it really hits at home for the issues of the day. Howdy yourself there, DD Myers. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, it's really timely. I'm not really looking for timely right now. I'd settle for something fun to watch that I haven't watched 100 times. And it's just,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, you know, um, yeah, I'm
If
with
you
you.
keep
I'm with
push,
you.
if
You know,
you know,
go ahead.
they just wrapped on. For example, they just wrapped on Master of Kung Fu. And things I already know about it really aggravate me,
Mm,
but that's something that I would like to have seen as a film. To be honest, I think it would be better off as a series. He's a character that kind of is more lends himself to smaller type stuff. You know how the Netflix shows,
oh,
something like that. Go ahead.
I yeah. Well, to answer your question, the Geekosphere would be Cobra Kai.
Okay, yeah. I've been, you know what? I've been holding off on season two
I
just because
mean,
I'm afraid to run out of
and
it. Yeah, it's good stuff. I like the first season.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it drops in January, so that I think a lot of people are genuinely excited about, where they wouldn't have been. You see, we're so thirsty for for escapism and fantasy. Like, let's get back into the genres of these stories, right? You know, science fiction, fantasy, adventure, horror. I don't need a political statement while I'm
No,
watching someone splice someone up. I just want to see some blood and maybe some good looking chicks running around and let's have some fun.
yeah. I mean, 'cause we have it. Don't we have those conversations all over the place? We have to have those
Mm-hmm.
conversations in our entertainment. There's something to be said for escapism. I don't like. I've always
Mm-hmm.
kind of said, look, I'll make a deal with you guys in Hollywood if you want to call me on the phone and tell me how stupid I am and all the things I should believe. If fine, keep it out of the entertainment. You can call me and tell me anything you want. I'll listen, and I will listen. I'm not even. And sounds facetious. I will listen. Listening to all this stuff. I don't need it in. I don't need it in my entertainment. I really don't. Um,
So, and a lot of people's reality right now is a lot of us have never stopped working. We're still working through this time. It's just, media and society and politicians and everyone's telling us how to live our lives. It's like, all right, but I want some good entertainment because I'm working my ass off during the day. I'm doing what I got to do to take care of my
Yeah.
family, to take care of whatever I got to take care of. Want to come home, or when I give my money to whatever IP that you send to me, you better come correct and you better entertain me. Because that's what the Phantom Menace is all about. It's like, and so, with Latino Slant, we don't necessarily obviously talk about, geekdom stuff, but
Yeah.
I have a fandom menace attitude. I have a fandom menace attitude, and that means I'm not going to agree on everything that I'm supposed to agree on just because of the color of my skin.
Yeah.
Um, but I'll hear you out and I'll respect your opinion. But we're also here I also want to entertain people with the show. I find what we're doing on the show highly entertaining. I want people to have a good time when they
Sure.
listen to catch us live or catch the replay, bro. You're a part of the show. You're a big part of the show, and you know what I'm trying to do.
Right. Oh, absolutely, man, and
Yeah.
absolutely. But sometimes it's just fun to cut loose and talk a little about geekness and things like that because it is part of it. And yes, you don't have to have agenda and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
um, people like to, and the excuses made by
Yeah.
some of these people with Star Trek, for example. It's always like, well, Star Trek's always been political. I don't know where you know.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's a big difference between political and philosophical, I think, and then people make this mistake. Um, did it have a
Mm-hmm.
point of view? Yes, but it was usually, again, it was philosophical. There was a progressive tint to it sometimes, but there were a lot of other things too. Gene Roddenberry, when he started out writing Star Trek early on, I mean, this guy he was an ex-war hero. He was a cop,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was a writer, and
Cop of
he
Boyle
wrote.
Heights in L.A.
Uh, oh, absolutely, and I once did a show back on my old show on BTR called
Mm-hmm.
the other works of Gene Roddenberry, aside from Star Trek, that people didn't really know about that much. I don't know if you like old Western TV shows, but I love them. I'm a big fan of old Western TV. Bonanza, The
Yeah.
Virginian, Gunsmoke, and all this.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, the greatest Western TV show ever made was Have Gun Will Travel. Gene Roddenberry
Mm-hmm.
wrote a bunch of those, and he was a really
Mm.
great writer. And there was a lot of conflict in that, and in Star Trek, it was never political; it was philosophical. He understood conflict,
It's a,
and he didn't alienate
it's a
people. Go ahead.
different time. It was a different time, Clobberin. You know, I mean, for what he did was so groundbreaking to have a black woman on that show.
Yes,
Like but it was always about, but that being said, the story was never about that. It was beyond. And,
no, he wanted to show that it
being,
was ordinary. No, go ahead.
but being, yeah, and being progressive was a completely
Oh, absolutely.
different take back then.
He didn't want to preach to you.
There were some real injustices still happening in this country. There's some real
Absolutely.
bad, nasty shit that, you know, we've come a long way, man. Do we got work to do? Sure, but
You got to
for the
go
most
forward, and
part,
you got to
everyone's
keep going
really good
forward.
to each other
I'm so with
together,
that. And
together.
at that time when Roddenberry was doing that, he
Hmm.
wanted to show, and he had to fight for this. He wanted to show that in the 23rd century, nobody cares what color you are, and that people were walking around. There
Fantastic.
were human beings and there were sentient beings when they weren't. There were the aliens, and humans. I love the fact that he wrote it as such. It was regressed later in some of these fake treks. He wrote it as such as they didn't even understand. I mean, they understood racism, but as amongst each other, they didn't. It was alien to them. If one of them would go back in time to the 1950s, for example, or someone from the 23rd
Hmm.
century of Gene Roddenberry, they would be appalled, and they wouldn't even at first they wouldn't even understand it. Like if they saw the segregation or whatever, they'd know it from
Hmm.
history. They'd be like, "Wow, this is. I mean, I've never seen this in my life. It won't be a part of their life experience," as was evidenced even on the series, as they said in Savage Curtain, when Abraham Lincoln, if you remember that episode, everyone, um,
Hmm.
who they thought was Abraham Lincoln, has an exchange with Uhura about that. And Kirk even
Hmm.
tells him, he says, "We've each learned all to be delighted with what we are." But he never made a big deal of it. There was no whole episode. When they did it with other species like let that be your last battlefield. They talked about racism through science fiction allegory. And at that time, it wasn't easy for Roddenberry to get people of various races on that show because the networks didn't want it.
Well, and now if you do something like that, even though it's, highly well done, got some smarts, it would be too safe. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not pushing the envelope enough. We get agenda, agenda, agenda. It's like, oh, give me a break. Give me a
Yeah.
break.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, look, even in
yeah,
1992,
man.
when they cast Avery Brooks as Benjamin Sisko. At that time, there were
Hmm.
definitely a lot of more shows on television with black casts, whole black casts and black leads and things like that. But it hadn't been done on.
Hmm.
Now they can do it on a Star Trek show and put him in command. And they did one episode in the 7th or 6th season, whatever it was, where he, that was specific. I can think of 2 times, maybe 3, where they did shows that deal with old school
Hmm.
racism. But for the most part, Benjamin Sisko never walked around. And by the way, Avery Brooks has said this. When they've asked him, what is it like to be the first black captain in Star Trek? He said, I'm just a captain in Star Trek. He said, I'm not a black anything or a brown anything or anything like that. I'm just a character because in this future, nobody cares what you are. And I mean, in a bad way, they don't care because it just doesn't occur to them.
Right, right. And bringing it back to Selena, I am seeing, the way it's being marketed. On one hand, I think it's awesome because they're going full retro, showing their outfits from the 80s, show, like the permed hair, like the real, cheesy outfits that the band wore. Um, and yet this woman, she broke all these barriers in her music business, but I'm not seeing it being like, like made as like, oh, Selena was a feminist before there was feminism, like in the Latino world. It's just like, I'm not hearing that at all,
I hope not,
which
man.
I really like. Look, because that could happen.
No, yeah,
That could
oh
happen,
God, yeah, oh God, yeah. Let's hope they just tell the
Just
story. Just tell the story.
like you tell the
Be
story
accurate.
because the story's amazing. You don't need to sell me.
No.
I know I'm a smart guy. I know what's a good story and what's not. Um,
Yeah, be faithful to
but
the
yeah,
story. Get it right.
be faithful to the story. You gotta have great writing. You actually have to have that's the most important thing is have great writing. Can the audience hear your sound and have good actors? That's it. That's your formula.
All that matters. That's all that matters
You
to
know?
anyone if you just sit down and
Yeah.
want to watch a good show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and let's
Yeah.
hope it is, man. I mean, how many episodes is it, by the way?
I don't know.
They're usually
Six,
the
eight.
Netflix
Let me
shows are
look it up.
usually 8 to 10, or I think Daredevil was like what 12 or 13, something like that. Um, and
Even though it wasn't a lot of time, she did a lot within her time frame.
yeah. How old was she when she was
Before she was
when she
killed. I
passed?
mean,
How old was she when she passed away?
maybe mid to late 20s at the
Oh yeah, very
latest.
young. Yeah, she was very young. Yes, I remember.
Yes,
Yeah, wow,
25, I
man.
think. Mhm.
And what you've seen of the young lady playing her, you think she's gonna turn out? I mean, you obviously haven't seen it yet, but does she seem like, from what you've seen, it's going to be
So it's 9
good for the
episodes.
role? 9, okay. Does she look like she's going to be promising in the role?
9 episodes.
Okay.
Well, the thing with Christian Saratos is that she's plays Rosita on Walking Dead,
Uh huh.
and I always thought that they never gave her a proper storyline, like where she had her own episode or she had her back, because she wasn't much of an actor. We all,
Thanks for being here,
me
Lee.
and the girl always thought she was kind of blah,
Yeah.
and so Rosita was written really bad. So it was almost like a kind of like a trampy character at first, if you remember. with Abraham. She was like Abraham squeeze. You know, she didn't really do much, but kind of look cute and hot, and then have sex with Abraham and kill vampires. Um, Now that being said, she looks great.
Okay.
She was a dancer in her real life. She was a dancer, so um, let's see how she does. It's a big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well. Yeah. You look. When does that drop? By the way, when is this going to be on there?
December 4th, 9
Okay.
episodes.
So coming up soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we're getting to the point where there's still a lot of things that have been produced that haven't come out yet. They're kind of holding on to some stuff. So, because not much new stuff comes out now, as we both know, especially at theaters. But I mean, even I guess on the Netflix and those other streaming services. So there you go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm kind of. It's a shame we're never going to get Daredevil again from Netflix, I guess. I mean, they keep saying they might bring it back, but I don't know, man. That bums me out. I missed that. I wanted to see more of that.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you watch that?
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. First season was pretty amazing.
They're,
She's 23.
23.
Jesus.
Okay. Wow, man. Some of us are old here. Steve Mitchum, good to see you, brother. And again, Anthony Daniels. Anthony, if you hadn't run out yet, thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here, my friend. Very, very cool.
They're lighting it up in the chat.
Oh, Steve Mitchum, my good old friend Steve. Yo, bro, good to see you there. So he's talking about, he was just asking what we're talking about. The new Netflix series about Selena. There was a film, I'm sure you're familiar with, the Selena film with Jennifer Lopez in the late 90s. It's about a show that's going to be, you said 9, right? Or did you say 11? 9 episodes?
Mm-hmm. 9.
Okay, so yes, he's talking
9.
about Selena. Yeah, and it is just called Selena.
Yep, Selena TV series.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
how the the reboot, we hope that it's done well as far as
Yeah.
telling her legacy in a great way, and that it doesn't change for the times in our current times. This story is so important now more than ever.
Yes, a story for our times. Tonight on a very special. No, sorry. Remember when he used to do that on TV? Tonight on a very special. Fill in the blank. Did they ever do that to X-Files? Tonight on a very special X-Files.
On the X-Files.
Which you stream on Thursday nights.
I mean, it got a lot of X-Files got a lot of hype, man. It was a pretty big deal back in the day.
You know why I was angry with it when it first came on?
Kolchak?
Well, no, I love Kolchak. Believe it or not, it's not that. At the time, I was pissed off at it because it was a show. See, it was the Fox network, as you know, and they were relatively only around a couple of years at that point. And there was a show on there that I dearly loved that got knocked off and replaced by X-Files, and it's The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., a show that I loved very much, and we lost it, and we got X-Files, and I was pissed off about it, and I took it personally.
Oh, whatever, dude.
Damn them.
Whatever.
Well, I was about to make an excuse that I was a kid, but it's not true. I was young. I was still old. Yeah, I was pissed off, man. I mean,
It's Steve Mitchum.
What?
In a world where man stand alone.
Yeah. Yes, in a world.
That you can't even have that nowadays. It would be
No.
in a world for one binary person.
Yes, a non-binary person.
Pronoun, non-binary, pronoun friendly, must stand. But if they want to crawl, that's okay too.
Yes.
If they want to grovel, that's all right too, because they are doing it alone.
We're not saying there's anything wrong with not having legs.
Oh,
we're not insulting people without legs here. You can stand, you can crawl.
No, I'm not speaking literal. I'm speaking emotionally, how being emotionally stunted and entitled is the default standard nowadays. So, oh, don't worry, you don't have to stand up. You can lay down. It's okay. Lay down, but tell your story. But lay down.
Actually, Tim, no,
Anyways,
John Aston was on a few episodes, brother. So yes, he was not only just in the pilot; he was on a number of episodes. Yeah, and he was a great character on that. Just had such great characters. We only got one damn season, man. Back then, I guess when seasons go like 20 some odd episodes. Yes, Bruce Campbell to me, and I love Bruce Campbell. He's never been better than his Briscoe because that's the one character that is not Bruce Campbell. It's an actual character he played. He always played Bruce Campbell and everything else, which I love. But yeah, so no, John Aston as Professor Wickwire was on more than one episode. Yeah, I binge it every couple of years, man. I can't. It's just. Do you have any shows like that where you loved and they got canceled way too quickly? Because X-Files went on 9 years. But,
yeah, it should have been canceled. They should have wrapped up that sucker earlier before that.
Yeah, but still, at least you got a few years. I'm talking like really short-lived something that, because that happens, obviously. Captain Trek, welcome, sir.
I'm trying to remember, bro. I'm trying to remember.
Dude, I got some of them, and it's painful, man. I got a lot of shows that got canceled way too early. I'm gonna do a show about that. So, well, there was the biggest one ever is Firefly. That got screwed. I don't know did you ever watch Firefly?
Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah.
And that was
okay.
That was, but that's the most famous of all the shows that got cut down in its prime. I emailed you my Doomcock Halloween cover.
There's a couple of ones.
Okay. Thanks. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get this ready. Go ahead, please.
No. I mean, email it. Okay.
No, continue. It'll take me a second to find it. Anyway.
There was a couple of recent TV shows I want to say that I was kind of bummed out that they canceled, but I can't even recall that right now. TV shows. A lot of TV shows are just forgettable right now. I always, I always hated that there was so much time in between the Soprano seasons. Like it's like a year and a half, 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Then you finally get a new Soprano season, and then then Sopranos ended. Of course, that was a very controversial ending. So that was kind of a big deal that I was really into. You know what? I thought Rome was really good and way too short. I loved Rome.
Yeah, that got. I didn't see it, but I understand. I understand that got canceled. What? Pretty early, or no?
I don't know if it's 1 or 2 seasons. I'll look it up, but that was excellent.
I can't wait to show this. It'll take me a second to get this while I load it up there, Doug. But yeah, everyone's gonna want to see this. This is pretty funny. He did a cover for Doomcock Halloween thing. He does great covers, spoof covers for Doomcock. I don't know if you've ever seen any of them, but they're a lot of fun. He does great work. Yeah, I love this one, man. But you knew I would, because I love me some Kolchak, and I love me. And that's got 2 different things that Doomcock loves on it. This is great. It's taking me a second to get it, but I will get it soon. I don't.
So Rome was real fast. Rome was 22 episodes, and it had starred Kevin McKidd and Ray Stevenson and Lucius and Titus. They were fantastic together. That was
how long?
That was really good. 22 episodes.
Did you ever see a show called Now and Again?
Now and Again. Now and Later? I don't know.
Now and Again.
Yeah. Oh, people like in Rome. Smart Steve and Bionic Belly Button haven't seen Rome. Well,
Bionic Belly Button's here?
Oh, yes. Yes, Doug.
Bionic Belly Button,
Yes.
the beautiful lady. Thank you for
Deadwood
being here
too
so
soon.
much.
Thank you for reminding me, Doug. I got another show. I have another show. It's
Give me
called
one. I'm still trying to
Deadwood.
get this picture put up. Oh,
Hang
that
on.
lasted a while though, didn't it? Or no? Am I wrong?
No, no, it was just a couple seasons, and then they did some movies. I never saw the movies. That was another show where they just. Oh, here we go.
Huh. Belly button. Thank you for being here. I'm trying to find a picture. I'm trying to find that thing, Doug. It didn't come in as a picture that I can download, so I'm just going to try to screen share it here because I'm an
Oh,
idiot and I
excuse
can't do
me.
it right. Sorry, man. Sorry about that, dude. Let me try to get this thing. I'm so sorry, everyone, but everyone should see this. This is the debut of a new pixel for the great Doomcox. I think this might work. There we go. I think we got it now. It's not a big picture, but can you see it?
No way. Oh, that's cool.
I'm
Oh
sorry I
my
can't
God,
make it
that's pretty good.
any bigger. I'm trying here. This thing is just kind of I don't know. I want to download it. Oh, I might be able to. I may be able to fix it now. Let's see. You know me and tech crap, dude. So no, it won't come out as a.
Let me see. Yeah,
This might work here.
yeah. Right. Yeah, I highly recommend anyone that hasn't seen Rome or Deadwood. You have now some shows to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But anyway, you
Um,
can kind of all see it right there.
eh,
That looks pretty cool. That's great stuff, Doug. I will try to get it some other way, but I don't know. I'm not very good at this sort of thing. In case you hadn't
well,
guessed.
my brother, I gotta go. I gotta get going.
I understand, man. I got you. It was really nice of you to come hang out with me tonight, brother. Good luck
It's a pleasure.
to your Astros, and for those who might not know,
Astros. What did you say?
yeah,
You
you're
said
an Astros
Astros?
fan, right? Oh, that's the Dodgers. I'm sorry, I got the team.
Oh,
How can I make
wow.
such a mistake?
Uh,
I'm so embarrassed. Hey,
what a
man, Dodgers,
jerk.
go Dodgers, dude. When do they play again? Tomorrow night? The Asterisks. So when's the next game, bud?
Tomorrow night, we're gonna take it off. We're gonna win it.
Only need that one more win, huh?
God, I can't believe you said Astro.
I'm just messing with you, man. The Astros are sitting at home, aren't they?
The
Are they
Astros
not
are
sitting at
home.
home?
They should have never been in the playoffs. They should have never been in the playoffs. They should never have been allowed to play in the playoffs
Dude, I will
for
be
at least a
watching.
season.
I will be watching that game with you in
Yeah, bro.
spirit because I'll be there. Yeah, I'm rooting for the Dodgers, man, and I hope you get it. You take it.
Yeah.
Don't make them go another game, man. Get it tomorrow night, dude. You don't want to suffer any more than you already
Tomorrow.
have.
Hey, man.
All right, buddy.
No. Oh,
But
much love, everybody.
thank you so much, my friend. I will, whenever the next show is, let me know. I'll be there for you with the wrench. And everyone, that's Polly. The description to the great Latino channel is in the description below, my friends. So please go subscribe if you have not already. And I hope we get a chance to hang out again soon, brother. Thank you so
And if
much.
you,
Go ahead.
and same thing. Make sure you're subscribed to Clobberin. He's getting up there. We got to help him up.
I already lost 2 subscribers in the big scrub, but yeah. So, but at least we're not classified on transparency.
Yeah,
too.
I've lost a couple too.
At least we're not transparent
Oh, don't
to
get me started.
the. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, have a good night. Take care,
All right,
Clobberin.
man. All right, buddy. Polly is the
All right,
man, everyone.
peace.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. He is the man with the plan, Polly. There, man. I tell you what. And he is a huge Dodgers fan. You know, that's a good one there. Tim, Thunder the Barbarian ended way too damn soon. But now and again, that was a great show that ended too soon. There's so many. I'm just going to do that as a. I'm going to do that as a topic. And I'm not going to be on much longer tonight anyway because it's so late for everyone. But I just wanted to come on and just kind of do a little open geek tonight. I usually do this No problem, Steve. By the way, thank you, man. I usually do this a little bit earlier when I do an open stream. I just wanted to do it a little bit. I was doing kind of a recap. I want to thank again Paulie for hanging with me, but also this past Saturday night, I had a great time doing, after some technical problems, a great time doing our Works of Alan Moore show that we did. Because, man, if he's done some great comics. He's done some not so great ones as well, but had a lot of fun with that. And, yeah, it was great. It was really a lot of fun. Let's see here. And I'm trying to come up with, I remember Voyagers. Yeah, let's see. Voyagers ended too soon. Yeah. If it lasted, John Herrick Exum might still be alive. I don't know. He could be. That is true, Tim. That's possible, man. Yeah, but what can you do? But I'm trying. I'm coming up with some new topics, some Trek topics. In the past, and coming up soon, as you can see, the history of Star Trek comics coming up. I cannot wait for that. Tomorrow night, I think I'll be on over there at Loki's. And if you see the stream below there, Loki's Mornings of Mischief channel is great. And I should be hopefully be on with Loki and the gang tomorrow night. And we like to do this every now and then, just to do it like what they call just a chill stream, as the kids say. Just sitting out talking random geek stuff. And it has been it's been so cool seeing everyone here tonight. Anyone want to throw out any topics to talk that we can talk about? Please let me know now, or if you got one, you can see all of my info in the in the information below, and you can contact me on Twitter or Facebook or email, and let me know a topic, and let me know if you want to come on and talk about a topic, because we could certainly do that, and it would be fun. Let's see here. I was checking my notifications here, and some if you're still out there, Nick, I would love to talk to you sometime, my friend. Talking about comics, as you can probably speculate, is something I like to do quite a bit. I know it's a shocker. I know the title of the channel does not give that away at all. But yes, Steve, we could talk about art, but you know way more about it than me. I'm one of those, I just know comic book art and the art that I like, and which we do. My good buddy Mark C and I talked a lot about comic book art already on the show. We have talked about our favorite comic book artists. We did a countdown of those. We've done our favorite comic book covers, and that was a lot of fun. And several other things. So, Robotech. Now, Tim, Robotech had a lot of different series, though, didn't it? And I got to tell you, I like Robotech, but I'm not someone who could say he's an expert on the subject. But still, that is a good topic. And and Tim, look, man, the original Star Wars trilogy, I am planning. I've already done back in I believe it was August. We did a show about my all-time favorite film, The Empire Strikes Back, with my great retro blasting friend Michael French. And by the way, he has a fantastic channel. Link in the description below. If you love the 80s, if you're a fan of the 80s, or whether you live there or not, if you just loved it, if you love the toys, if you love the cartoons and everything, retro blasting is superb. It's fantastic. And he's doing videos and got more videos to come about Robotech. He's my go-to guy on Star Wars. We had a fantastic time talking about Empire. He gave some he always gives great information. And he is fantastic. And he knows his Robotech, sir. Oh, okay. Tim, okay, that's great, man. So you know Michael. All right, well, great, man. He's a great friend of mine. We've been friends for a long time. Back when I was on BTR for all those years, Michael would come on there with me, and we've done all kinds of topics. I love Michael and Melinda. And he's done a lot of Robotech, and he's probably got more coming. And I got a lot of friends who are into Robotech. I haven't seen much of it, maybe like the early episodes. And yet, well, look, I've seen enough to know, Doug, that it's a cool show and a lot of people really love it. BTR. Oh, Smart Steve, cool. BTR it was Blog Talk Radio, um, since 2000 from 2009 to this past April, 11 years. I was on there and I did 700 episodes of just what I'm doing now, different geek stuff, talking about everything there is. I did an NFL show on there for a while as well, but I'm not into the NFL as much as I was anymore. Um, and so it was around for a long time. It was just, what the hell? Oh. And I'm glad you guys know about retro blasting. That's cool. So yeah, we were on there for a long time. Let's see here. But yes, it's got a huge fan base. Okay, he's done 4 Robotech videos, one on each of the cartoon series. And if you've ever seen a retro blasting video, my friends, my buddy Mike Michael, he is thorough. And he does toy restorations, of course. He does toy line reviews, play set reviews, cartoon reviews, all of them. He's kind of focused on the 80s, as you all know, those of you know of him. But he does other stuff too. But it's really a big 80s focus. And he is like my good friend, my new friend here, Tim, good friend Tim Hayes says. He's a cool Star Wars dude. He is my go-to guy on Star Wars, all of Star Wars. He's researched it. That's how we first got together when I met him at Dragon Con back in 2011, he and Melinda. And we've been friends ever since. And I've had him on the show ever since. And when I need something to know about something about Star Wars, because no one has researched it like him, he's also an authority on, vintage Star Wars toys. So I love retro blasting, and I love my friends Michael and Melinda. And they've done, just amazing videos. He's very thorough. He does a lot of commentary. He's going to have him on again soon. I'm not exactly, I think I know what topic we're going to have, but I'm trying to get him on back soon. I know he and I are going to do it. I'm hoping he and I will do in November a Doctor Who show. And again, when it comes to toys, yes, very smart and talented, and he is that, and he's also a very good friend, Tim. He's just you're never going to find a better friend. He's just he'll do anything for you, and he's the best. And I love that man, and I love Melinda. She's also a very dear friend. I've been friends with both of them. Met her first actually at that same con, and we have a wonderful origin story. But so yeah, I hope to have Michael on soon. Yes, he did. He did that Dragon Con last year. He dressed up as a Tom Baker doctor. He loves Tom Baker. He loves Liz Sladen. So, yeah, he's amazing. And I love his channel. Anyone who have not checked out that channel, you got to. Well, I hope so. Tim, I hope you get a chance to meet him soon because he's a great guy. You'll love him. He's really cool. They do amazing panels and stuff when they were doing panels at cons. They're incredible. So, it's amazing. You know what I love? Have you ever seen his Super Friends video? He talks about the mess that are the Super Friends DVDs and how the crazy order they were all released in. The research he did on that one. If you haven't seen the retro blasting video about the Super Friends that Michael and Melinda did, that he did, it's amazing. Yeah, the unboxings are fun. No question about that. I like the unboxings as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's been a number of years now, but that video is amazing. So well researched, and it's headache inducing how crazy the order on those Super Friends videos are. How he put that thing together, I just don't even know. Amazing. Yeah, I love that video. It's one of my favorites of his. He's done so many great ones. I love Broken Vader, so I cannot say enough how much I love my retro blasting friends. And you know what? Since I just moved here, oh, okay, I got you. He did a couple of Rogue One videos. I think that may have just been about the toys, though, Tim. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's been a while. He may have. I'm not sure if he reviewed the film or not. I can't remember. I'd have to ask him because I can't remember. But I remember he talked about the toys a good bit. Or he did, because I think he talked about some of the Rogue One toys, if I'm not mistaken. But again, fuzzy on that. Michael has an amazing memory, and he knows I don't have a good memory. So, but since I moved over here from Blog Talk Radio, he may have, Tim. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm saying I can't really remember. But since I moved over here from Blog Talk Radio, and my son tried to get me to move over here a long time ago, I have made so many fantastic new friends. I wish I'd done this a long time ago, but then maybe I would have made all the same friends. And then, even way before this, I had Doomcock on my Blog Talk Radio show. Doomcock has been such a great friend of me. He's fantastic. I love a lot of these. I love a lot of the Fandom Menace streamers. And but I made so many great friends here, like Paulie, and many, many others, Loki, and so many of them. And I have links in my description to all of their channels. A lot of them are just getting started. Some of them been around a while. Just the nicest people you're ever going to meet. All trying to get their channels started, helping each other out. Even if they're just in the chat of someone's channel enough. And I just cannot say enough about this community and the brotherhood, that I've experienced here in the short time they've taken me in. They don't know me. And just been so kind, and Polly didn't have to pop on tonight. He has things to do, but he popped on and hung out a little bit, and I moderate for him in his chat now, and that's pretty cool. Yep. Well, you guys, of course, remember Michael's epic Jabba's barge videos and stuff. Those are amazing. Yeah, and his epic trip to Australia. And so many fantastic people. So many fantastic people in the Fandom Menace. And in the stride, you just see a lot of these names in, hey, Canadian Spider-Man does whatever, man. Fantastic people that you meet just in the streams or whatever. The beautiful Bionic Belly Button who popped in earlier. I don't know if you're still here, Bionic, but I just really appreciate you. If you are, if you're not, I still appreciate you. Who's always just so kind and fun to talk to in the streams of Doomcock streams, things like that. The nicest people. Canadian Spider-Man, another pal who's popped up here now. And of course, he's always at a lot of the same streams I'm at. You get a familiarity with some of these great people that like to go to a lot of they like to frequent a lot of the same streams that you do. And it's just so much fun to meet these people. Oh, I got you. Cool. Well, cool, Tim. It's never too late to follow Retro Blasting. He's just got such a great channel, and you can tell when someone loves their stuff. You know what? Canadian Spider-Man, we have not talked about. Oh, good one, Steve. Sorry, we have not talked about Spider-Man yet, but we're always willing to learn. Yeah, we're always willing to talk Spidey because I love Spidey. Yeah, that was a great video. It was great of Michael to do that. What an adventure! But Michael's an adventurous feller, and he's a great guy. As I've said much times here, and I've repeated myself often, how great he is. And Steve Mitchum's a great guy too. We've been friends. And he's way older than me though. No, Steve and I have been friends for dude. We're not that far off from 40 years, bro. Certainly in that neighborhood, man. Yeah, oh man, dude. Yep. Through Doomcock's great community. And of course, Doug Oberg, my good buddy, he's a great artist. Doomcock's the man. He's an amazing feller. I love that man. I did not know that that was coming up. Tim Michael's mom gets interviewed in a future Retro Blasting video. Well, I'm looking forward to that one. I'll have to ask him about that. Wow, pretty cool. Huh. I think so, Steve. That could be it, man. Steve and I met back in the well, maybe not that far back. Didn't we meet back in the 1920s, I believe, at a comic shop? Yep. Well, that's a good one, Tim. Yeah, I'm looking now. I'll look forward to that one for sure. Retro Blasting rocks, and they do those great live streams. Also, Retro Blasting does some amazing live streams on Saturdays, and those are really great. They've really been doing that regular. I think there was a time when they were doing it just like once a month or something, but I think they've been doing it every week now, which is cool. Yes, and the password was swordfish at the speakeasy. So I keep forgetting it's not all that late out there for where Steve is and Paulie is. But yeah, look, I've made so many great new friends here, and it's been so much fun. And got a lot of stuff planned. Like I said, this was just an off the cuff little open stream here. But I'm trying to come up with a lot of different ideas for shows. Again, they've got a lot of Star Trek planned. Got a lot of got some Doctor Who planned, a Prisoner show hopefully coming up soon, and of course a lot of comics. Oh, I didn't realize they were off this past weekend. Wow, I did not know that. Canadian Canadian Spider-Man. That's an Alex Ross painting, and no, he might think he's Jesus. He does think he's a wizard. That's Alan Moore in the middle, and these are a bunch of characters he either created or wrote. Hawaiian pizza was created in Canada. Was invented. I did not know that. That is wild, weird stuff. Wow, that is wild. That is so wild. I can't believe it. That's good to know, though. Well, they've been together for a very long time. I'm glad they tied the knot. I did not even know they did that. Wow. Amazing. That is, I did not even know that. I was talking to him the other day and he didn't even say anything about that. But great. They've been together for a very long time. They got a great house, man. It's just an amazing house. And yeah, and they should be back Saturday. Well, good. Yeah, he did. They've done a lot of good topics. I can't stand it when I miss it because they always have a lot of fun doing it. So let's see. Indeed, Smart Steve. But yes, this is kind of a little bit. Again, there was this one, Canadian Spider-Man, and then this one where he looks even more Jesus-y, except not. Again, with a bunch of the characters he's either created or written, because he's a crazy fellow. And here's another one where he looks kind of crazy, because the dude's a crazy old coot. Alan Moore was a crazy, man, he's nuts. Okay, I'm at one of the streams, so I missed that one. Okay, I got you. Well, that's great though. I'm glad they did. They're a wonderful couple. I love them. They're two of my dearest friends, and I'm glad that I not know that. Of course, I don't live close to them, so I haven't seen them in a few years now. But we stay in contact. But used to see them every year when I would go to Dragon Con, and that's over. Dragon Con's over, and I miss them. I don't know Canadian Spider-Man. I do not know if they caught that piece of garbage that hit Doug McKenzie. Bob and Doug McKenzie. Rick Moranis, Bob McKenzie. Hey, take off, hoser. Do they really say hoser up there? Because, as you all know, the lovely and wonderful Raquel Briggs, who did the show with me, about Star Trek a couple of times is from up there, your way, Canadian Spider-Man. But I haven't got a chance to ask her yet. So, do people really talk like Bob and Doug McKenzie? That would be kind of funny if they did. Yeah, he does look like Rasputin, Tim. Oh, I got you, Tim. I hear you, man. But yeah, he's a crazy old coot. He's done a lot of great writing. He's done a lot of great comics, including this one. We kind of went down his timeline a little bit. Some really fun, some really great comics. Yes, I've heard that Alan Moore does think he's a wizard. Mentioned how the Killing Joke was an allegory for fear and abandonment. Makes you wonder how Moore found that perspective. Personal experience or drugs, Steve? I don't know. Could be either. Thanks, Canadian Spider-Man. Good to know. Let's see. Well, Doug, he worked for like you just said, like I talked about. He worked for Marvel UK, and really, he didn't work for Marvel. He's done almost no work for Marvel whatsoever. Actually, he worked for Marvel UK and did things like backups in their Star Wars comic and their Doctor Who comic, and then he went to 2000 AD. But actually, he did not work for Alan Moore. Never worked for Marvel. There's only one Alan Moore Marvel comic book. He went to DC, and he accepted no money for it. He was pissed off. He thought he got screwed over by Marvel UK. He didn't like them. He didn't like and at the time he was protesting the way Marvel treated Jack Kirby about his original art, which was horrific. So there's only really one Alan Moore Marvel comic book where I forget the name of the book now. Heroes for Hunger special that Marvel did with a bunch of different artists who each did a page. It was a benefit book for some famine. And we didn't talk about this on the show the other night. I'm glad you reminded me about this because we forgot about this. And a bunch of artists contributed like one page for free. It was all. So he didn't work for Marvel, but he did that one page because it was a benefit book. He refused to work for Marvel. Later, when Marvel got a hold of Miracle Man, the rights to it, in fact, they started reprinting it. They can't reprint it with his name on it. He took his name off of it. Doesn't want his name on a Marvel comic. So in fact, Alan Moore never worked for Marvel. He worked for Marvel UK. So technically, I guess he did work for Marvel in that sense, but not Marvel America. No, it was Heroes for Hunger. It was a serious book about a hunger relief thing. So it wasn't a parody of Heroes for Hire, which I like, by the way. Actually, I liked it better when they were Power Man and Iron Fist, Steve, but that's me. But yes, he only worked for Marvel UK. He did for Marvel UK again. He did that Star Wars comic that I told you about, and he worked on Marvel UK Daredevils. He did a book. He did Captain Britain stories, which were great. But yes, he never allowed his name to be put in a Marvel comic book or anything like that. He's pissed off at DC, but at the time he was not pissed off at DC. So let's see. Mod616 is a YouTube channel. He's into rap and horror movies, but he's a white Canadian. I don't know who that is, man, but okay. Yep, Iron Fist. Power Man and Iron Fist was a great series for a good while there. Especially, I love the Joe Duffy run on that. That was really good. But yeah, so Moore didn't work for Marvel. He went from I forgot that one company that did Maxwell and Magic Cat, or that what the newspaper was. He went again, Marvel UK, 2000 AD, Quality, which was put out Warrior, and then DC on Swamp Thing. Then he was with DC for a long time. Yeah. And this book called Daredevils was a lot of reprints, but it had new stories in it as well. Captain Britain that he did was later. Now, Captain Britain was later compiled by Marvel. And as you can see here, they have his name on this trade paperback, which he did not like. So, yeah. But he did work for quality. He did this was Marvel Man before they changed it to Miracle Man in the States. The second name in the Rand Corp? No. In Danny Rand's corporation? Oh, no. Good question, man. I can't remember that. But I do love that comic, but it's been forever since I've read it. So, no, you got me. I like the first Captain Britain costume better, Smart Steve. But, yeah, it was a great comic now. Found out that Meacham is the original. Okay, yeah, there you go. Really? No kidding. I did. Once again, that is wild, weird stuff. So I did not know that. Ed, did you know that? Oh, great one, Magnum. I did not know that. Wow, is Doc here tonight? Doc is not here tonight. Hell no, man. Did not know that, Steve. Wow. I've been saying Mitchum, bud. But yeah, so yeah, he was all over the place, but not Marvel. Yeah. So, and he liked Marvel comics. He read them. He loved them as a kid. But yeah, he sure harkened back to them with 1963. But yeah, buddy, he was all over the place, and he did a lot of really fun, cool stuff. Some great comics in the 80s. What's that again? Does he look like Does he look like Flash Gordon? Warrior was the name of the mag. There wasn't really a character named Warrior. It was just the name of the magazine. It was a magazine of black and white comics. And as they said, they brought back a Marvel Man, stuff like that. And then that's where V for Vendetta got started. So he was all over the place. The thing about that, ironic indeed, sir. Indeed, that is ironic. My buddy Paulie, who was on here with me earlier, he's also a kung fu expert, a black belt. He teaches. Well, no, I'm sorry, not kung fu. See, here's what I know, Steve. Apologize. He teaches Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I do believe, and he is a great buddy, and I'm so glad he came on here with me tonight. But yes, you are the master of kung fu, sir. The thing about this, what happened to me about a year or so ago, a couple years back, when I was I had only seen a few Doomcock videos. Smart Steve. A buddy of mine came into the chat, and I knew who Doomcock was. I'd seen a couple of the videos, and my friend he seen a couple. He also. This was like 2018 or something. And he asked me, I think I told Doomcock the story when I had him on my show back then. He told me, he asked me, he said, "Are you really Doomcock?" I thought he was just kidding with me. Hey, that's a compliment because I love his videos. Well, I said, why do you say that? He said, "Come on, is that your Doomcock and is that a new identity you created?" So what do you mean? And he says, "Well, you say all the same stuff and you rant a lot on this show all the time. Everyone tries to make you rant because that's the thing back on the old show. Everyone used to try to get me revved up and rant. You've heard of Doomcock rant. Doomcock rants are great. Well, he accused me or he jokingly asked me if I was Doomcock. I don't know how serious he was. It was in the chat, and I was, I had seen a couple of the vids of Doomcock's vids at that time. And of course, it was funny, and I joked around about it. But then, of course, a few months later, Doomcock was so gracious to come on the show with me and do a real long interview with me. Spent a lot of time. He didn't have to do that, and it was fantastic. So I love the Doomster. He's great. And no, I wish I was that good. I'm not in his class, but I took it as a compliment. How much you know about British newspaper strips? I would like to find some Garth reprints. Oh wow, I have 2 books that Titan put out. Wondering if there are more. There Titan. I don't know if Titan's doing that anymore, but someone else has. I'm not who took up. I'm not sure who took those up now. So I can't tell you how many they've done of those, Doug. But you know what, dude? I will look into it for you because I used to love the Titan albums, and I love well, I mean, I don't know much about British news strips. When I do my Star Trek comics, history of Star Trek comics, they had a lot of Star Trek British news strips and stuff. But no, I don't know a lot about British newspaper strips. I'm sorry. I know a little bit here and there, but I could probably help figure out for you if they're doing any more of those reprints. If you want, man, I'd be glad to look into it for you. Jason C. 80s and 90s, great time for comics. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a 70s and 80s kind of guy myself. Yeah, I remember Flesh Gordon. Yeah. Oh, okay, you know that now that you mention it, Tim. Yes, he had a blue outfit. Thanks. That is true. I didn't think. Now I know what you're talking about there. Thanks, man. Let's see here. Well, Canadian Spider-Man she'd have to have superpowers to beat you up, buddy, because you're Spider-Man. I'll look into it, man. I got to write it down, or at least if you send me a note on Twitter or on the email, help me remember, because I've told you about my garbage old timers memory. I forget stuff, buddy. Well, the Phantom was an Australian strip, Smart Steve, but they may have. I think they did. I think he was in Britain as well. I love the Phantom. I love Lee Falk. Great stuff. Oh, I've got 2 of those Star Trek reprint album. I mean, big books by hardcovers by IDW that reprint. Obviously, they reprint all the L.A. Times Star Trek strips and the British, the UK strips. I think there's one more I need to get. Those are great, man. I love them. Doomcock rants at a level 10 black belt ranking. He does. No one could do that. Yeah. Oh, thanks. I do take it as a serious compliment, and again, I'm nobody's in his class just for his talent for singing and those. But see, a lot of the people who used to frequent my chat, they would try to do things on purpose to get me to yell and scream and rant like a maniac. It may not sound like it now. I know, Steve knows me, so he knows I can do that. I do, and I did it a lot, and they love to get me going because you see, I started this channel. It's called Clobberin Times. It's belligerent, they say. I've been accused of being belligerent because of the name of the show by pussies. Let's face it. But I've I have the same kind of passion and fervor that he does, that our buddy Doomcock does. I started this show so I could bitch about the piece of shit Jar Jar Abrams' horrible 09 garbage filth Star Trek trash. And I was a big Watchmen fan, as you all know, because we're talking about Alan Moore here. I love the comic book of Watchmen, and I have a lot of problems with the Zack Snyder movie. And so I did complain about. I also started the channel at that point for that, so I could bitch about that. But it was mostly the Abrams trash. Agreed, Phantom. Purple. I love. Excuse me. Sorry, man. Canadian Spider-Man. Sorry, buddy. I love the Phantom's costume. Purple rules indeed. Well, smart Steve, you know what? Since I've been over here on YouTube since April, I can't say I've done any really crazy stuff like yelling and screaming like I used to. Getting kind of old for that, and it can mess up the. My pipes are bad enough; they're so old, man. But Eric K. Then I'll yell for him every time. The great Eric K. Thanks for popping in there, buddy. It's always great to see you, my friend. Always a master of the wrenches and stuff. And I do enjoy a good rant. I still like doing it. Smart Steve. And they would try to, again on the old show on BTR, they would come into the chat. There was a time, especially years back, where again there was no YouTube live streaming. This is many years back in the heyday of the old BTR show, and I had the huge filled up chat room, and I had to take, I didn't have moderators or anything like that, and so if I had a top, it's one thing if I was just doing the open stuff, I would sit there and look at the chat and go back and forth with the chat, but a lot of times I had to stay focused. Absolutely, Canadian Spider-Man. You were so right, sir. But I had to stay focused. 20 hours with no power. Oh, Eric, that sucks, brother. Sorry about that, man. That's terrible. I'm glad you're back up and running, man. That's awful, dude. Jesus. So I'd have these really filled up chats, and they would fight back and forth, or they would joke back and forth. Sometimes they had trouble in the chats, and they would love to get me stirred up. And, I wouldn't do it just to entertain. There would really have to be something to get me going. And yes, it was a lot of years ago now, so I was a lot more excitable. I can't say I was younger. I was younger, but not young. But yeah, I got a little bit excitable sometimes. I admit it. Ugh, man. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, Alan Moore, well, he was a nut, but he was a great writer. I thought, didn't Nerdrotic, I had to miss it. Didn't he do a stream today, Eric? Oh, you may not know. You may not have been on. I think Gary at Nerdrotic, who we're all big fans of here, God love Gary. He's fantastic. I think he did a stream today. I hated that I had to miss it, but he said it on Twitter, I believe so. I think he might be up and running with the power of Canadian. I don't know. I do not know, but I sure hope so. I hope he got his power back. What else? But yeah, we talked about some really cool stuff the other night, and had a great time with Carlos, talking about some of the greatest comics ever written. Yeah, so there he is again. There, Canadian. Yeah, I guess he does look sort of like Jesus. Funny you mentioned that about Jesus. We're not being blasphemous here. On Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run, there was an issue. This run took place in back when it was back in the 80s. It was in Louisiana, which is of course where I live, in the swamps, because everyone thinks Louisiana is nothing but swamps. And it was I've always thought it was hilarious how I'd see in the Swamp Thing comic, even the pre-Moore issues, even back in the old Len Wein, Bernie Wrightson classic run, or later when it was by Nestor Redondo and what have you. And then later when Tom Yates did it, Marty Pasco, before Byrne took over on the book, they always would show these parts of Louisiana that I've never seen before. It would say it was this town in Louisiana or whatever. I'm going pretty much, and it was it looked like a podunk swamp town. We always got the impression that people up north thought we all go to work in boats and in the swamp, and we don't have cars or anything. It's hilarious. And here's a Brit writing about it, a wonderful, great writer. But everything was in a swamp, of course. And in one issue, not being blasphemous, it was just mentioning, you mentioned Jesus. They went into there was, I forgot exactly the story now, which issue it was, but someone went into an occult bookstore, and the manager of the occult bookstore was drawn by the artist John Totalman and Steve Bissett, or other way around, Stephen Bissett, John Totalman, to look just like Alan Moore, who they had met. They've met him. They'd gone over there, and they put him in the comic book, and they put him as running the cult bookstore. Well, needless to say, DC Comics, weren't they like 666 Madison Avenue back then? They got a lot of angry letters. How dare you put Jesus in your comic book? Well, it wasn't Jesus. Needless to say, they weren't even. They just thought it would be funny to put Alan Moore in there, and happened to be in an occult bookstore. You not only did you put Jesus, they said, you put him in an occult bookstore. Which was fun. I remember when I saw it, I was like, is that Jesus? What the hell? Let's see here. I think one of the Avengers issues was set in the swamps of Baton Rouge. Yeah, that's where I'm from, everyone. And yes, I think it was an Avengers. You might be right, Steve. I've seen it in a lot of comics. Like an old, I don't know, maybe like an early 70s issue, maybe. Like one of them, I don't know, like they're in the Steve Gerber run or something like that. Oh God, I can't remember exactly, but they've done it in Marvel, they've done it in DC. Baton Rouge, folks, does have swamps around it, like a lot of parts of Louisiana. In smack dab in the middle, like there's a swamp area, but it also has concrete. You might be surprised to know, and not everybody has even been near a swamp. Damn, Eric, that sucks, dude. Sorry about that, bro. But God, this was a great issue of Swamp Thing, by the way. It was weird. Alan Moore hates superheroes. Now, you sure knew how to use them. That's a crazy ass art on Swamp Thing, didn't they? Bissett and Totalman were amazing. This is one of the greatest and scariest comic books I've ever read. Right here. That's this one. As we were talking about the other night. The hell that was used a lot in Hellblazer and in Neil Gaiman's Sandman and so many other times started right here. Swamp Thing Annual number 2. Swamp Thing goes to hell. Yes, amazing art. Yeah. If you ever pick this masterpiece up, it's crazy. This is, yes, that Etrigan. I love, gone, the form of man, rise the demon, Etrigan. Oh, that Etrigan, as you can see, that dead man, Phantom Stranger. Good God, this is a great comic, man. Look, he denounces his old work. We don't. We talked about it the other night. And if you haven't seen the other night's show, if you really want to hear two nuts rave on about this man's work, yeah, I love Dead Man. Love the Phantom Stranger. Oh God, some of the greatest comics ever written, man. Just phenomenal stuff. Like the Phantom Stranger, again, that was a fun story. Again, this story blew me away. What's what I hear about Abin Sur? I always said Abin Sur, then everyone could say Abin Sur. The mind of this man to come up with a story about, why was Abin Sur in a spaceship when he crash landed and had to pass his ring on to Hal Jordan? Why would a Green Lantern be in a spaceship? Never even occurred to me. It occurred to Alan Moore, and he wrote a brilliant story about it, which he's pissed off because Jeff Johns mined the shit out of it, which I thought was okay. I mean, it's fine. But Alan Moore does not appreciate what was done with this story later, with Sodom Yacht and all this other stuff, and that Johns used it as Green Lantern. But I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. And at that time, I kind of got me back into comics in the early aughts there for a little while. But Moore don't like it. And as my buddy Steve Mitchum talked about the other night, and has talked about a lot, one of his favorite stories. Yeah, let's see here. Doug. One of the first comics I purchased was the late 70s Bernie Wright's and Swamp Thing reprints. Yeah, that was called the Swamp Thing Saga, not to be confused with Saga of the Swamp Thing, which is Series 2, which later just got dropped. Swamp Thing was. Yeah, I have those big reprints, wraparound covers by Wrightson. Dude, those are beautiful, Doug. Great stuff, man. You ain't kidding, bud. Abysser, not to be confused with it in Sabanur. I can't even pronounce that. In Sabanur. Okay. In Sabanur. I feel like I should know that name, or am I wrong? Don't know. I don't nothing wrong on that. Yeah, buddy, Steve Mitchum, though, man. The F sharp bell. What a story. With great art by Bill Willingham and Terry Austin with an Alan Moore story. Jesus Christ. Sure meant something to us back then. Bill Willingham was a great artist. Of Elemental's fame, of course. And what did they do? Like Fables or something later, I believe it was. Yeah, not something I followed. Yeah, I love Kat Matui, by the way. She's a great Green Lantern. Another great Green Lantern that he created. Mogo doesn't socialize. Hey, Tim Hayes, thank you for popping in, my friend. I am honored that you were here. Thank you so much, and it was fun chatting back and forth with you there, talking comics, and I hope we will do it again sometime. I really do appreciate it. Apocalypse, okay. There you go. Thanks. That is right. Well, again, I never liked. I stopped reading X-Men before that, so I never read any of the Apocalypse saga. So you have to excuse my gap there. But I dumped X-Men way before that. Well done, Edit K. Coming through with the info. Appreciate it, buddy. Who else could have thought of F Sharp Bell? Nobody. Nobody. That nut had to come up with it. How could he denounce this story? Vulcans don't super chat. I don't know what that means, Canadian. I couldn't get a super chat anyway. I'm not even monetized. I don't have any, and I have no subscribers hardly. But I don't know what that means, man. But cool. But yeah, I'm sure Vulcans could not. You're right. But I wish they'd have adapted this story. But for anyone who is a Green Lantern fan, and if you like animation, I love Green Lantern. And I don't like the current. Let's see, what is it? I'm in Whitehorse. You're cutting off. Dry cannages. No booze, no YouTube for a month. Tell Doomcock and world-class bullshitters hello on my behalf, please. I will. If I tell, okay. Then I'll go. You're cut off from civilization. Okay, I got you. No, not Steve. Not specifically. But he denounced all. He hates superheroes now. He denounced anybody reading superhero comics. He pretty much, in general, I mean, he never singled it out. He's done not just with Watchmen, but he hates. He trashed people watching the Marvel movies, even though he didn't do those. Yeah, he's just kind of crapped on all of superhero stuff. But no, not specifically. I didn't mean to say it that way. Canadian Spider-Man will do, man. But I love the DC animated movies. Used to. I don't like them now because they're all Screw 52 filth, and I don't like that personally. Just me. Some people like that stuff. It's fine. It's not my bag. I don't like it. I don't like the way they look. Those costumes are eyesores. I don't like the way they handle things. But a few years before that, they did a Green Lantern Corps film of Green Lantern because it was about all of them called after they did one called First Flight, which is okay. Problems with the writing of that, but it's pretty good. But they did one, Nathan Fillion doing the voice of Green Lantern called Green Lantern Emerald Knights. It's an DC animated film. If you're a Green Lantern fan and you just like superhero stuff, it's a great, great animated film. You'd find it fairly easily. Excuse me. And they did a bunch of short stories, and including they adapted this great story, Mogo Doesn't Socialize. Who indeed would have thought of something as brilliant as F. Sharp Bell or a planet as a Green Lantern? Even though it was colored blue in that picture for some reason. Never understood why. But it was brilliant. We were talking about the other night. It was brilliant. So, yeah, I mean, if you ever get a chance to watch that, Steve Mitchum, thanks for being here, my brother. Buddy, I'm so glad to see you pop in. Thank you so much, man. Have a good night. Take care. I hope that baby and hope the wife is doing great, Bob. Thank you. Canadian Spider-Man, I'm so proud that you were here. I'm so, man, I'm sorry about that. What's going on with you? I hope you hang in there and keep your powder dry, partner. And, yeah, I mean, dude. Hey, man, let's see here. Let's see what's that. Jan Reynolds. Yeah, I'm sure you mean Ryan. The Ryan Reynolds. Oh, yeah. Ryan. Green Lantern film. Well, I don't know if I got a big rant in me. That fucking movie, though. You know, when a buddy of mine and I went back in 2000, and I'll close it up in a second, guys, because I appreciate you being here. When we went to see the 2010 Green Lantern film, and a lot of that film was filmed down here in New Orleans, actually, or down there. I live in Baton Rouge, but in New Orleans. My friend who went with me, who Steve knows, I think Steve's gone now, was he loves Green Lantern even more than I do. He just loves Green Lantern. Well, we both love him, right? And his thing was, man, look, and he was at the time, I guess, in his early 50s, whatever it was. He says, he's been waiting because we've had, as you all know, we've had Spider-Man movies. We had, of course, multiple Superman and Batman and movies. And this was 2010. We didn't really have much of an MCU yet. But even Iron Man had a movie before Green Lantern. And a lot of other characters had a movie before Green Lantern. And it's not so much of a rant, but I still, to this day, have no problem with the casting of Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan, and if it were a good script. This fucking movie was written by a goddamn jackass a year before it came out. What was this guy's name again? Michael Greening-Ball, whatever. I forget the fucker's name, all right? Baton Rouge seems like a fantastic. Well, look, hey, Canadian, there's not much to show you, but buddy, you come down and I'll show you around. I'd love to meet you. So fucking this idiot who Michael Greenball, I forget the guy's name, all right? But I'll never forget reading in an interview when the film was announced. If this doesn't telegraph to you how shitty a movie is going to be, I don't know what does. Because you know how these directors, like when Zack Snyder got given Superman and he said he didn't like Superman or whatever. Well, this guy didn't do that. But he was asked in his interview, and you know they'll ask him, so what do you got planned for Green Lantern or whatever the hell they're asking him. So he proceeds to pontificate about Green Lantern. Now, I'm going to assume some of my friends here, whether or not you're big Green Lantern fans, I'm going to presume you're going to know what's wrong with this statement. In fact, I'll throw it to you to tell me what's wrong with this statement. The fucking director of the movie. This is him. He probably excuse me. He probably sounded like this as well. Excuse me. The great thing about Green Lantern is that anybody could be Green Lantern. I'm going to wait for it a minute and see what you got. Anybody could be Green Lantern. Anybody could spot the flaw there for me? I'll say again. It's great because anyone can be a Green Lantern. Anyone. It might be true that anyone can be Spider-Man and they can rise above it if they get the superpowers. Because many heroes are basically given superpowers and they don't know what they are, but they become something. But how are Green Lanterns chosen? My fat ass can't be a Green Lantern, I can tell you that. Hint, hint. Just to give you a little hint. Can anyone be a Green Lantern? Is Hal Jordan anyone? Is John Stewart anyone? Anyone can be a Green Lantern. When I read that, I wanted to. Kidding, by the way, this is a joke. I wanted to fucking find this dude and wring his neck. Excuse me. Have you ever read a Green Lantern fucking comic book? Call me crazy. But I think you should probably study up on the character before you shoot your stupid mouth off, jackass. If there's any character ever in comic book history that not just anybody can be, because that ring is pretty discriminating. It's fucking Green Lantern. For fuck's sake. Good one, Smart Steve. Participation trophy GL. Yes. RR. Yeah. The ring chooses just anybody. Now, that's kind of true with how. Don't get me started on Kyle Rayner because I will lose my patience. But Kyle Rayner doesn't deserve a ring, so maybe that's true later. Maybe that's what this guy has read. I don't know. So, by that metric, RR, great to see you, my friend. Always great to see you pop in. By that metric, my stupid fat old ass could be a Green Lantern. No. Hal Jordan was, the ring seeks out someone who has learned how to conquer fear. And a lot of that's retroactive that John's added later. But the point is, it seeks out extraordinary individuals like Hal Jordan. Even Guy Gardner, before he went nuts, he was chosen before Hal Jordan, and then he had a problem. They had to go to Hal Jordan. And when Hal Jordan passed it on, John Stewart is an extraordinary person. All Green Lanterns are selected out. But you all know that. But the goddamn jackass who directed the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds didn't know it, apparently. And if you don't know that, you're going to make a shitbox movie. Well, guess what? Some people defend the film. This fucking movie, again, Ryan Reynolds, no problem with his casting as Hal Jordan. Made sense. It was okay. The opening film, you want to like it because you love Green Lantern, right? His costume is so horrible. The stuff on Oa, mildly entertaining. It doesn't last long enough, and it's pretty CG all the fuck. But at least it's relatively entertaining on the Oa stuff. Not good, doesn't last long enough, and he has no real training. It looks pretty shitty, but then when he comes back to Earth, oh God. And I didn't mean it to be much. I didn't mean that to be really a rant. It fucking sucks, man. So the movie sucks, donkey dicks. I'm sorry, dude. A green white lantern. Well, later John's created the Rainbow Lantern Corps with all the different, colors of the rainbow or emotional spectrum. And there were white lanterns there. There are actually white lanterns. There are black lanterns and purple lanterns and star sapphire lanterns, basically, whatever, and blue lanterns and orange lanterns. I love Larfleeze. Bill Bilbo Baggins is Green Lantern, yeah. So according to a dickwad who gets the job, I guess, I don't know. Did someone tell him they just throw the ring at you and you become a Green Lantern and that's all it takes? That's not how fucking Hal Jordan was, or Guy Gardner. Now, or John Stewart. Or Kilowog, for that matter. Kat Matui, Abenzer, Sinestro, or whomever got their ring. They were exceptional beings. But no. Here, it was... This guy's directing the movie. That right there, dude, that was a year or so before the film came out, obviously. When I heard that, I'm like, this is going to be a piece of shit. And he didn't disappoint in that because, again, I think it's a terrible film. I'll be very honest with you. It's a very disappointing. Now, that's been a while since I've watched it, but I watch it now, considering all the water under the bridge and all the crappy things that have been done. Would I be a little more well-disposed towards it? I don't know. I doubt it. Because when he gets back to Earth, it has fucking no story. They ruin Hector Hammond. He sucks. Good God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hector Hammond is a pretty top-notch Green Lantern villain, not one of the physical ones. Yeah, Nort. Even Nort, got chosen. Nort was pretty messed up, but he got chosen, So, what can you say? Kyle Rayner, yeah. Look, I'm the biggest Kyle Rayner hater there is, my friends. I know some people like him. I think my biggest reason when I kind of eventually started dealing with it was I fucking hated what DC, when they did Xerox Hour, that piece of shit, when they turned Hal Jordan evil into Parallax, had him destroy Coast City, had him destroy his fellow Green Lanterns, all so they could kill him and make one guy a Green Lantern. A little pussy jackass Kyle Rayner. Maybe I wouldn't have minded if he would have just been another Green Lantern or a replacement or even, but they destroyed the Green Lantern Corps and the greatest Green Lantern in the universe, Hal Jordan, who is the greatest Green Lantern in the universe. I love Alan Scott, but he's not a Green Lantern Corps guy. He's a Golden Age, and I love him. He's a different kind of Green Lantern. And I love him. Hal Jordan's the greatest Green Lantern in the universe. And don't take my word for it. The Green Lantern Corps called him that. Thank you, RR. Man, you guys have learned how to make my blood boil away the old cruising. I'm so easy. But that fucking movie. I mean, yes, there are worse films than that. Now, sadly, there are worse comic book films than Green Lantern, but it's fucking terrible. Didn't have to be. Decent casting. But Jesus fucking Christ, man. You're going to as soon as this dickhead said that, he should have been fired. Or if someone should have forced him to read a goddamn Green Lantern comic book. And then again, he ruined Hector Hammond, like I said, and it had no story. The guy playing Sinestro, Mark Strong, what little scenes he gets are okay. What they did with Parallax, which I hate I hate Parallax anyway, was fucking dumb. How do they go about picking people to write these movies? Yeah, I guess it's all, yeah. Look, they pick idiots who don't know anything about comics. I mean, look, thanks, Smart Steve. I'm glad you do. The jackass who directed the friggin' Daredevil, stupid Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, which sucks donkeys. He didn't know shit about Daredevil. Look, that's why at least after MCU started getting it kind of right and doing some good movies, we saw more times where properties were handled by people that understood the characters. Are they all great? No. Yeah, I'm a Hal. Me too, Eric. I'm a Hal Jordan guy, but I know the history of the Lantern Corps. But look, it's not just me saying he's the greatest Green Lantern of all time. Kilowog said it. Even Sinestro had to admit it. He hated him. That he was the greatest. All hail Hal Jordan. damn right, man. What they did to Hal was disgusting. Earlier year, they did it to Barry, and it fucking sucked. Because Barry Allen's my favorite Flash. I love Jay Garrick. To me, Wally is okay, but kind of Wally is. He'll always be Kid Flash to me. But you gotta understand, I'm old. That's so. And I hated what they did to Barry for years before Crisis, and then when they killed him in that, and then I love Mike Barron, and I kind of like his Flash series that he did when Wally Wood Wally Wood, the great artist Wally Wood. Sorry, but he's great. When Wally West took over, still kind of annoyed me because of what they did to Barry Allen. So they screw over Barry Allen. They love to murder characters, Jesus, back then, and then they screw over Hal Jordan. Ugh. Yeah, and at least you could say something for modern superhero movies. Oh my God, the great Loki Mornings of Mischief. Did you hear me yelling and screaming all the way out there, man? I'm sorry. My voice is blasted now because I was bitching about the shitty 2010 Green Lantern film with Ryan Reynolds. It's all the chat's fault they got me on it, and I love them for it. But Hal Jordan is the greatest Green Lantern of them all, and I love a lot of them. I love John Stewart. Loki Mornings of Mischief, folks, man, he's the man. You're up late, brother. But I love him. And the thing is, when I was working at the time, it's kind of funny, when that film was just coming out in 2010, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern film. This a guy that I was friendly with, he's a UPS driver at a place I was working. He was a black gentleman, and he walked up to me in a joking way because he was talking about, hey, he said, that new Green Lantern movie. I said, yeah, what about it? Because we talked about comics a lot. He said, hey, man, I thought Green Lantern was black. And I said, well, why'd you think that? And then I remembered, oh, you've been watching the Justice League cartoon. He said, yeah. He didn't know about Hal Jordan. Cool dude. We had a lot of fun talking. And so I had to explain to him how Jordan predated John Stewart. Now, I love John Stewart. He was great on that Justice League cartoon. I mean, that was probably, in my opinion, the best characterization of John Stewart. There you go. Thanks, Loki. You are the man, brother. Loki Mornings of Mischief is the coolest dude of all, man, of all on YouTube. And he's been a great friend to me. I was talking earlier about how I made so many great friends here, and it's because of guys like this that I love it here. And but yeah, so it was. He didn't know. He didn't know about Hal Jordan. He just had seen. We talked about the Justice League cartoon before, and so yeah, he thought that because he wasn't that much of a comics reader, but he liked that cartoon. He just assumed. So he was kind of jokingly like, "Why'd they just change him to a white dude?" But I explained it to him and everything. At the time, we hadn't seen the film yet, and it wouldn't matter if it had been Jon Stewart or anybody. And by the way, Kyle Rayner still sucks. I've said that earlier, but I say it for fucking hate Kyle Rayner. But it's just pettiness on my part. I do understand that. Ryan Reynolds is the greatest Vancouverite. And you know what? His Deadpool, it's interesting. Always been interesting to me that some superhero movies about characters I didn't care about in comics are usually better movies if I don't care about them. I like Mike Mignola, but I never really read Hellboy that much. I like those two movies, not the new one. I never cared for. A lot of people did, and it's fine. The Deadpool comics, I never was into them that much. I like those movies. Ryan Reynolds is hilarious in those films. So man, what can you do? And we talked about the other night when we went over Killing Joke. That was oh man, I can't. I will rant and have no voice left for the next year. So let me put something on that I don't rant about as much. There's a great comic by Alan Moore. But anyway, like I said, Carlos and I, for those who missed it, Carlos and I had a wonderful time talking about the works of Alan Moore, his great stuff. Yeah, the Dick Fury treatment. I hear you, smart Steve. I did not see the new Hellboy. Thank you for telling me that. I mean, I don't. Ron Perlman may be a nut job as a person, but man, he was so great as Hellboy. I wouldn't want to. Just didn't want to really see anybody else playing him anyway. But yeah. So I guess I've yelled enough, and I've had a fantastic time. It was great of Paulie to come in here and join me earlier for the first hour, and my good buddy Paulie at Latino Slant. And I'm just so touched and happy that so many wonderful people have shown up and hung out with me this evening. It was kind of late for me, but it's a Monday night. I didn't know if there was going to be that much going on out there, and so I just thought I would throw one out there. Oh, here we go. Galen Moore did write some. Let's see. There's a question. Spawn movie. Eric K. This is good. You know how people sometimes will post something on maybe it's Twitter or whatever and say unpopular opinion, and they'll put it out there. Here's an unpopular opinion for you. I don't like the Spawn comic book. The cartoon wasn't that great, but fans really like it. So I didn't watch the Spawn movie. There may be less than 3 or 4 comic book movies that I didn't watch, even if I didn't care about the characters. But I never could stand Spawn. He was popular, but he wasn't my bag. I never thought, never really liked it. Now, people love him. That's fine. Nothing against it. But I do know that everyone I know that liked Spawn did not like the movie. But fortunately, I'm spared having a dog in that hunt because I don't like Spawn. I'm that guy. I'm old, man. What can I tell you? Thank you, Canadian Spider-Man. I appreciate that. So I would love to give you a rant on it, but I don't have. I mean, other than no, damn, dude, you hit one of the few, and I mean few, things I won't rant about with comics or comic book movies. But my friends who have seen it didn't like it very much. Who like Spawn? I can tell you that. But yes, we all have these little deficiencies in us. Yes, Michael Jai White did play Spawn. That's right. Yeah. And I'm sure, look, maybe somebody likes it, but it would have been my experience that most people who even like the comic were not big on the film. But I have one of the few things that comic book are really I don't have a big opinion on, to be honest with you. Again, I try to tell a lot of people. There you go. Well, I hear you there, Doug. Me too. I try to tell a lot of people I'm an old fogey. I'm very old, and I don't like a lot of modern stuff. I don't like, and there's a lot of stuff that is, if it's popular even, that I'm not big on. I'm that stick in the mud. I'm that party pooper sometimes, and I feel bad about it. Let's see here. Loki. Oh, okay. Loved Spawn, loved The Pit, hated the Spawn movie. Gotcha. The Pit by Dale Keown. Yeah. And you were, so Loki, you were a fan of the Spawn comic. Yeah, there you go. Well, again, fans of the comic, from what I heard, Spawn hated the movie, and Loki would be one of them. There you go. And that's what I heard as well. But that was one I did not go see and never watched. But I heard things about it. I heard it was terrible. So, and there you go. And Loki, there's a fan of Spawn that did not like the movie. That seems to have been the consensus on the Spawn film. And Eric said he thought the movie was okay, but he hates John Leguizamo. Do you? Yeah, he played Violator. I know that much. But see here. Film just didn't get in the mood. The character, the HBO animated series was well done. It was well done. And I wasn't big on Spawn, but I saw a little bit of it, and that was. And it had also, it was voiced by the great Keith David, great actor, who also voiced Black Panther on the mid '90s, wonderful Fantastic Four cartoon that I love so much. And a lot of Spawn fans will tell you they like that cartoon. I saw a little bit of it, and it was well done. Absolutely, R. The blood and gut stuff's just never been my cup of tea. I'm an old-fashioned superhero geek, but look. Alan Moore was edgy enough for me, and he went insane with some of the stuff he wrote. But at that point, when Spawn came around, I was getting tired of the edgy. I wanted to kind of go back a little bit, And I love that Justice League cartoon, but I don't think they did a good job adapting this story. But it was great. But um, yeah, I mean, I guess I like my old stuff, man. I like my, and this is all kind of old stuff now. That's right. He did. Yeah, that's true. R did the voice of on Gargoyles. That's right. Yeah, he sure did. Wow, great actor. He was also in They Live. Not to be confused with David Keith, by the way, who was probably a good actor as well. But They Live, man. And by the way, Loki and the gang had a watch party of The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing, one of my favorite movies. Killed me to miss that, man, because I love that movie. I would love to have just been watching along. I would have put a DVD and watched along with you guys. I was doing my more show the other night. I kept putting off. But, man, I hope you guys had a good time with that. Good God, I love that film. One of my all-time favorite movies. John Carpenter's The Thing is a masterpiece, in my opinion. I love it. And Keith David was in that. Windows. Not Windows. He was Windows. He was Child. And I love him. Love that movie. The fight scene in They Live with Roddy Piper and Keith David is one of the top all-time fist fights ever filmed, in my opinion. It is savage. Well, I love Kurt Russell, man. I'm a Kurt Russell freak, dude. I love that man and everything. It's about savage scene. And it's just fantastic. Really is. I love it. So, yeah, well, look, guys, I guess it's time to run. Speaking of savage scenes, you talk about a rant right there. Oh God, when Superman yelled Mongol's name right there, he was ready to kick some Mongol ass, wasn't he? What a great comic. A lot of these comics are just so damn good by Alan Moore. If you could check any of them out, like I said earlier. Yeah, Keith David's a badass, man. I love that guy. Once again, just to give me nightmares, the single most disturbing comic book ever written in the history of history. And that's why I'm putting it up here, because it's Halloween, right? This is not a Halloween-related story, but people like to be scared at Halloween. Yeah, the fight scene's amazing. Yeah. RR, you've read this? Of Superman one or the Miracle Man one? Yeah, a funny thing about Doug, about Soldier. Have any of you ever watched a movie or a film? Same thing. Yeah, sound pretentious. Sorry, but have any of you ever watched a film and you just were sort of blah about it, or you just sort of didn't think much of it? Then sometime later, maybe for whatever, you go back and watch it and you really, really like it. Even vice versa happens, I guess, sometimes. Soldier was that for me because I love Kurt Russell. I first saw it and I was like, but maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I was in a bad mood. That's happened to me with films once in a while, a couple times maybe. But somehow, some way, a few years later, Superman 1. I loved it so much I saw Superman 1 18 times in the theater in 1978. But that's me. I'm a geek. And I love Superman. So when I went back to watch Soldier again later, and I don't even know why I did it, back then flipping channels. And I really got a whole lot more out of it, meaning Soldier. I loved it when I saw it again. It's a very simple film, yes. I guess it just hit his performance because he doesn't speak much, but it's a brilliant performance. And he really makes you feel something for this character. I really, really liked it a lot. Now, when you say one of Alan Moore's best stories, are you referring to the Superman story I was just showing RR, or this Miracle Man story? So it's happened to you, Eric? Okay, I got you, buddy. This right here, and yes, I know I'd say it too many times. Eric, Get your joke ready. I owned a comic shop at the time. He's coming with that joke. You better be, Eric. I'm gonna be disappointed in you. And this thing, I mean, good God, I couldn't put it on the rack. Back then, you didn't put that on the rack. They're more gory. They're probably more gory comics. Oh, the Superman story, yes. They're probably more gory comics or more shocking for shock value comics. There's no more disturbing. And I might be saying that now, and you might pick it up and not think so. At the time, you got to realize time had something to do with this, the era. This comic book here, and it was the second and last issue Moore ever did of Miracle Man, previously Marvel Man, was the most disturbing comic book I'd ever read at the time. The effect it had on me, it lasts to this day. It's a masterpiece. It's disturbing. It's disgusting. It shouldn't have been made. And it was brilliant. If any of that makes any sense to you, you're as crazy as I am and Alan Moore is. Yeah, Eric K. coming through for me. Thanks, buddy. But I didn't even put any pages from this on this thing because you could see the covers bad enough. Ah, good God. But yes, RR, Alan Moore Superman's stories are my favorite all-time Superman stories ever done in comics. Be it the one you see on the left, the Jungle Line, where he teamed up with Swamp Thing, which was great. The middle one, the Superman Annual for the Man Who Has Everything, which is my all-time favorite Superman story. My second all-time favorite Superman story, you see, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. Yeah, but it's dark stuff. See, you get me going on comics, and I never let you guys go. You guys have been way too nice hanging out with me. But I'm going to let you, I know it's all late for everyone. I want to thank everyone again for being here. The wonderful, beautiful Bionic Belly Button joined us earlier. I know she's probably gone now. It's probably late, but I love you, Bionic Belly Button. Thank you so much for joining us. You are fantastic and beautiful and wonderful. I wish I could get a chance to talk to you about stuff one day. You are amazing. Steve Mitchum was in here earlier, my great friend. I thank him. I want to thank Paulie for joining me earlier. I want to thank the great Loki of Loki's Mornings of Mischief for my wonderful intro, outro, and for popping in tonight, man. I know it's late for you, Bo. I know you got it, bro. I know you got a show in the morning. The master, Eric K., the great wrench. My good buddy, RR. I'm always honored to see you here. Smart Steve, my new friend. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it. Doug Oberg, thanks for those great Doomcock covers, man. I love it. Those are fantastic. There were a lot of other good friends. Oh, Mark with a C popped in earlier. I believe Mark with a K. I can't remember his name. Canadian Spider-Man was here earlier. A lot of fantastic people popped in. If I'm forgetting your names, just remember I'm an old cuss. Jason C. Yes, thank you. Was here as well, and I appreciate that. Good God, a couple other friends, new friends and old friends popped in that I had not seen before. Oh, Dee Dee Myers popped in earlier. That was fantastic. See, again, a lot of names I've seen all over the place. And again, I've had a lot of fun yakking. Got a little rant, maybe my first YouTube rant since the old Blog Talk Radio days. I appreciate that, guys. Anytime you think of something that I might rant about, if you want to destroy my voice, which could never be a bad thing, my voice. Bruce Lombardo. Thank you for that, Bruce, and thank you for popping in, man. We really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate that. And anyone coming and hanging out. Oh, 32 Flavors was here earlier. 32, if you're still out there, listen. If not, I'll contact you over there. I'll get you on. We'll talk some comics, because I would love to talk comics with you, as you can see. Good enough. Eric, man, you wrench for everybody. I wanted to just hand you a wrench, but I wouldn't even know how. And thinks I wouldn't be presumptuous. You've got enough of that kind of crap, but I would give you one in a heartbeat. I just don't really know how, because I'm that new at stuff here. and I give a lot of you guys the wrenches and stuff. So the only reason I haven't is because I don't really haven't figured out how to do that yet. But I've been wrenching for Polly and learning how to do that. It's a lot of fun. RR, thank you. It's just like what the kids call a chill stream, just kind of having a little fun, shooting my mouth off about stuff, and I had fun with Polly earlier. Captain Trek, that's right. Thanks for reminding me, guys, because you know what a damn idiot I am. Captain Trek's got to come on and talk some Trek with me again one of these nights, buddy. I'll be doing a lot of the open ones. You know, I would love to have you come back on. You joined me once before, and I do appreciate it, sir. Tomorrow night, Loki, I don't know if anything's going on for tomorrow night, but Loki, of course, will be doing as he always does because the show is called Mornings of Mischief. The great Stone Loki will be doing his show in the morning. Link to his channel, by the way, and there's a link to not only Loki's channel, but a lot of other fringe channels down there. Retro Blasting, my good friend. Who else was here? Tim Hayes was here. He was a good dude as well, and he's a good new friend. So many new friends, but thank you so much, Doug. I appreciate the kind words, all of you. In the chat below, or excuse me, below, plenty of links there. If any of you have not checked out any of those wonderful channels of so many of my new friends and upcoming channels, please do so. Loki's links down there and a lot of others. And Paulie's and you know, Retro Blastings and Eris Chaos, she's wonderful, and so many other nice people down there. Stephanie Janizek, another wonderful friend. So many great people. Oh Lord, no, Eric, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would not be dude, I just didn't want to be presumptuous and say, hey, you got a wrench for me. As you can see, I don't really have there's not much to do. I mean, I don't know how you guys do it in Gary's amazingly fast chat or Doomcock's even. But you know, that's amazing. But I would feel like I'm just being presumptuous and saying, you know, just because you do it for everyone else. But dude, I do appreciate that, man. And you know, but you know, you've been such a good friend to me, Eric, here. I really appreciate it. And there's so many wonderful people that I've made friends with. And again, I've said it before. So many fantastic people in the Fandom Menace. It's the best place on. It's the best place on the net. It's a home. It's a place. The Fandom Menace is a place. Fantastic people. And so, you know what? Speaking of fantastic, amazing people, we love the great Stone Loki here, and he gave me my wonderful intro and outro. I use it for both. And so why not use it? So thank you all again, everyone, for being here. And again, props to the great Stone Loki for this amazing outro. Good night, everyone.